friends just made a podcast. Two good friends just made a podcast. Two good friends just made a podcast. It's called Culture Bucket. Two good friends just made a podcast. Two good friends just made a podcast. Two good friends just made a podcast. Culture Bucket. Georgia and Alex.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the greatest podcast in the universe. We've been away from you for a month or so, taking a bit of a winter break, but we wanted to come back and wrap up 2022 before returning properly for the 2023 season in mid-January. So this is our best of 2022 episode. This is the podcast where two best friends talk all things pop culture. And yeah, I'm George, and I'm here to host you, but I can't do it alone, so you have a second host, and that host's name is Alex. Hi, Alex.
Hi, George. Hi, everyone. How are you doing today, George?
I am great. It's lovely to be back. It's been a tough autumn, but I'm within a couple of days of the Christmas holidays, the winter holiday, so we can do this. How are you?
I'm good. I'm really excited to do this again. It's been a while. I've been away. I went back to our home of 3 years. I went to Japan for some time. Had a great time, but I'm happy to be back and talk to you and see your wonderful face and hear all your wonderful stories and things.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
So yeah. Good. So today we're going to do best of 2022, and we're going to start by we're going to talk about our favourite albums of the year. We're going to talk about our favourite TV shows of the year. We're going to talk about our favourite movies of the year.
Yes.
I'm going to talk about my favourite video games of the year while you listen politely, and then we're going to have a look ahead into the future at the albums, films, and TV shows that will hopefully be entertaining us in the coming months, including one TV show that's going to start in January that I thought about it the other day. I thought about how excited I am about this TV show, and I started crying.
Oh, George. I'm excited to know what it is.
Oh, good Lord. I'm tearing up now just thinking about it.
Oh my
I hope
goodness.
it's good. Okay.
Can you imagine if it's bad?
Oh, if it's bad, I'll quit. Everything.
I'll get off.
This is Culture Catch-Up Time. This is where we talk about what we've watched, what we've read, what we've listened to, and probably some other stuff. Culture Catch-Up Time.
Let's discuss our favourite albums of the year.
Yes.
As usual, I've done my favourite 10 in a ranked list because I love to rank things based on preference. You don't like doing that, so You've just got a list of the things you enjoyed.
Yes.
And we'll merge them together into a super list of good stuff. So I'll start.
Good.
My number 10 favourite... Please do. My number 10 favourite album of the year is an album by a hard rock band that I don't think you're particularly familiar with, called Alter Bridge.
No.
But they're good. They're a good group. They're almost a super group. Do you remember a band from years ago called Creed?
Yes, I do, actually.
So the lead singer of Creed was a guy called Scott Stapp.
Mm.
And I think he was, I don't know too much about him, so I don't want to throw dirt around, but I think he wasn't the easiest to work with. He ended up leaving the band, and the remaining members, including highly respected guitarist Mark Tremonti, formed a new band called Alter Bridge, and they recruited a new vocalist in Miles Kennedy, who is a guy who's got a pretty high vocal range. He's got a very good singing voice. He sings for Slash on his solo material when he's not in Guns N' Roses. And he also releases his own music periodically, and so does Tremonti. So the members of Alter Bridge are all very busy musicians on their own time, so they tend to get together a bit like clockwork once every 3 years to record and release a new Alter Bridge album. Then they'll do a big world tour of that album, then they'll go off and do their own stuff, and then they'll reconvene when it's time to do more Alter Bridge. And it's produced some really amazing music. I really like Alter Bridge. All the albums that they've done have got stuff worth listening to. It's very kind of heart on your sleeve, not particularly innovative rock, but it is like really enjoyable to listen to. And their latest album, Pawns and Kings, I wasn't really paying attention to them, so it came out of nowhere a little bit for me, and it's good. It's probably one of the heaviest albums they've done to date. It's got some really great songs on it, and there's a riff on there that Guitar Magazine named as the best guitar riff of the year. It's that kind of music, and it's good. And I saw them live about a week and a half ago in Manchester, and they were great. It was a really good show. They had support from Hailstorm, who are really good. Lizzie Hale fronts them, female-fronted rock band, who I like, and then the support act underneath was Eddie Van Halen's son's band, Wolfgang Van Halen, Mammoth, and that was interesting to see. So they're good. I like them, and their new album's great. That's my number 10.
Sounds great.
My number, yes, my number 9 is the latest album from a band that I shared with you earlier this year due to the intense disparity between the lead singer, what they look like, and what their voice sounds like. And it is Arch Enemy and their newest album, Deceivers. And I don't listen to music this heavy usually. I listen to heavy metal, but I normally don't listen to music where the singer's voice is that sort of screaming, loud screaming kind of thing. But something about this band, the way they mix melody with that kind of harshness, I really like. And I thought this album was brilliant. There's a song in it called The Watcher, which there was a couple of days when I just listened to that song over and over and over again. I think it's brilliant. And Alyssa White-Gluz, the singer, she's wonderful. So yeah, Deceivers by Arch Enemy. You remember them, right?
I do remember, and I couldn't believe that voice was coming out of that body. And I kind of understand why it attracted your attention, since you like strange and wonderful and bizarre things. I don't know how it happens. It doesn't seem possible that voice comes out like that, but sounds interesting.
Yeah, it's good, man. In at number 8, I've got the latest album from Carly Rae Jepsen, who I am a big fan of. Carly Rae. Her album, she did an album called Emotion back in 2015,
Great
which
album.
Still is the soundtrack of my time in Japan, pretty much.
Yeah.
I used to cycle around and listen to that album all the time.
Yeah.
And her newest album's not quite. Go on, sorry.
And we listened to it constantly and sang it at karaoke. Probably.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
Her newest album isn't quite on that level, but I did really enjoy it. It's called The Loneliest Time, and one of my favourite songs of the year, Beach House, is on that album, and the rest of the album holds up as a really good, strong listen as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like it. Did you give it a go at all?
Yeah, I listened to Beach House, and then I had really high expectations, and then I listened to it and I didn't enjoy it as much as Emotions. I didn't, and maybe I haven't given it enough time because it came out at the same time as other albums that I definitely gave a lot of time to. Beach House is incredible, really good song. The rest I didn't like it as much, but I'm willing to give it more time because I really like Carly Rae Jepsen, and I'm sure there's more to it than I give it time for. So.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, once we're in January and it's a bit quieter, maybe and a bit of distance from Taylor and stuff, maybe it would be worth giving it another worth giving it another try. And I'd agree that it's not as good as Emotion, but I don't think that means it's bad. If you see what I mean. Still worth a listen. After that, I've got the new album that came out all the way back in February, I think, from Black Country New Road.
Yes.
Ants from Up There, really, really good album. It manages to be a really complex, challenging post-punk album that also has really listenable, good songs on it. Kind of a more accessible Black Midi, I think, at times. I really like this album. It was only marred by the fact that the lead singer left the band about a week before the album came out, which meant they weren't able to really tour it and stuff. But it sounded like he had very legitimate reasons to leave. It was the right choice for him. It was just a pity that it meant that these songs haven't really been able to find a live setting, because they are great songs like Chaos Space Marine and Basketball Shoes and stuff. But all the same, it's a good album, and it was good. And I got to see them live later in the year, but it was the new kind of restructured version of the band, so they weren't playing songs off this album, but they were still really good. And they've just announced another tour for next year, so hopefully they're prepping the new material to release, and hopefully it will be just as strong as the old material. So I hope they keep going for a long time. After that, there's an album we did talk about and that you have listened to, the 1975's latest release, Being Funny in a Foreign Language.
Yes.
Kind of continues the 1975 tradition of their album titles being a little bit odd, but doesn't necessarily continue their tradition of the songs themselves being a bit odd. It's probably the most predictable release they've ever done. There's not much variation in sound on it, but because of how, you know, the songwriting is so strong, and they've worked with Jack Antonoff on this, which might be a little bit of a symptom as to why it does all sound a bit the same.
Yeah.
But that sound that they're playing with is a really good sound, and you know, I like the sound a lot. Songs like Part of the Band and Happiness have been the soundtrack to my ear a little bit. So yeah, I like it.
After the first time I listened to it, I wasn't really convinced by it, but I think it's definitely a good album, and it takes time though to get into it and enjoy it. For me, it took time. I'm not sure if it.
No, it took a bit of time for me as well, but I got there with
but
it.
It's good.
In at number 5 is an album I think we've both listened to, probably the new Taylor Swift release, Midnight. Yeah. Came out of nowhere. She announced it in October, and it came out in November, which is impressive for such a huge artist to be able to do that. She's 10 albums into her career now, and somehow she's still able to put stuff together that captures the world by storm. It's been a huge release. It's massively successful. Vinyl sales out the roof. Although cynically, she did put out 4 different colour versions of the vinyl or whatever. So I think the biggest fans will have each bought 4 copies of the album.
Amazing.
But that's fine if that's what you want to do.
Yeah.
And yeah, the album itself is great. It returns to a pop sound a bit more from the Folklore and Evermore stuff. But, you know, a really strong, varied songwriting, really good songs. I think Anti-Hero and Bejeweled particularly as 2 great singles with brilliant videos. The video for Anti-Hero that she directed herself is really cool and weird and fun. And then the video for Bejeweled has got the Haim sisters in it, so I'm a big fan of that, along with Laura Dern.
Yeah.
So yeah, what do you think of it?
It's such a great album, and I'm amazed at how incredible of an artist she is and how she stays true to herself but changes her sound, and she's so honest with her lyrics, and she doesn't compromise, and I really like that about her, and it's just a great album. And at the beginning, I wasn't really sure, a bit like the 1975, I wasn't really sure about it, but the more I listened to it, the more I enjoyed it. And then I had a layover when I was going to Japan, and I just listened to this album for about 8 hours, kind of non-stop, between this and the 1975 and another artist I'm going to talk about later. But in really, really good album, and with so many layers, really. She's not an artist that does things by chance, and I think that's why I really appreciate her as an artist. And I think my favorite song is Midnight Rain.
That's
I
a good song.
really like how they change Midnight Rain. I just felt so, I don't know, just so good. But yeah, I really, really like this album, and I think she's great.
She is great. Well done, Taylor.
Yeah.
Yeah, so in at number 4, I've got the new Big Thief album that came out much earlier in the year. Dragon, New Warm Mountain, I Believe in You. I got to see them. Yes, that's a long...
Great title.
Yeah. It is a great album title. Double album from them, full of really, really brilliant tunes, incredibly, incredibly varied songs on there. So many different styles and ideas that they're playing with, but all remaining true to their core sound of kind of simple folk music. It's wonderful, really, really good, and their live show was great. They turned out to be quite intense people, the band members, but no, good stuff, really, really enjoyable. Then in at number 3, I've got the new Arctic Monkeys album, The Car, which came out on the busiest music day of the year, because Carly Rae was out that day, Taylor Swift was out that day. It was tough to find the time for all of them, but I did. And as good as Taylor Swift's album is, at the moment, I've got The Car slightly above it, because I really, really do adore Alex Turner and company. And the sound that they moved into on their last album, they've continued here, but kind of made it a bit broader and more lush and orchestral. And there's some really incredible tunes on there, like There'd Better Be a Mirror Ball and Body Paint. Oh, Body Paint is... Oh. Along with like non-singles like Sculptures of Anything Goes, which is a wonderful tune. So yeah, I really like this album, and I can't wait to see them perform it live.
Yeah, I didn't give it any second, but I might, I might.
Yeah, you should. You should. I mean, it's of a tone and it's of a piece. So you'll either get on with it or you won't. But I'd recommend trying it out. I love it. Yeah, so good. Then in at number 2 is an album that we've talked about a lot this year, and for me, I've got it at number 2. It is the first of the Red Hot Chili Peppers releases this year, Unlimited Love. We did a whole episode on this, so we both listened to it a lot, and it really stuck with me. And then I was able to go and see them live earlier in the year and see Frusciante, and it was just phenomenal stuff. And I can't get enough of that album. The Heavy Wing that you pointed out as the best song on there has grown to be my favourite song on the album. Spotify Wrapped was like, you listened to Black Summer 36 times this year or something. A lot of time spent with that one song. It's not even my favourite song on the album. And then they announced and released a second album this year, Return of the Dream Canteen, which is a little bit more open and jammier and funkier, and might in the future go on to be preferable for me to this album. But for now, Unlimited Love, because I just spent so much time with it, and it was just such a great thing for them to be back and doing what they do again.
Same. Like, I didn't give enough time to the second one that they released this year, but Unlimited Love is just such a return to Red Hot Chili Peppers, to their best, and it was so surprising that it's an incredible album, and we've talked about it. If you want to listen to our episode on that album, and then listen to it because it's so good.
I'd recommend all of that. And then in at number 1 for me is a true classic in the making. Someone who's been away for far too long. It was exciting for them to be back this year. Kendrick Lamar with Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. Of
course. Such a great album.
Such a great album. Like, we did an episode on this as well, so we listened to this album a lot this year, and it was an album that works as a piece of art, as a collective whole, and I loved it. And then I was quite intrigued. I got tickets to see him live, which I went to a couple of weeks ago, or back in November, and I was worried about whether the album would translate to a live setting, because it is such a kind of coherent piece of work in its whole. And no, it was one of the best things I've ever seen in my life ever. It was a great show. Was standing right near where he was performing on this platform that came out into the audience. Wow. And it was more than a gig. It was like an actual performance. It had dancers and props and things going in and out of the stage and coming down from the ceiling, and bits of it were narrated by voiceover from Helen Mirren, of all people.
Oh, what? What?
I don't know why. Although he just put out a new video. He just put out a new music video for Count Me Out, and Helen Mirren is in it as his therapist.
Well, I guess she's got good therapist voice.
Yeah, she definitely does. She's she pops up everywhere. Have you seen the Barbie trailer yet?
I've seen the 1:27.
Yeah.
Was she there?
She's doing the narration on that. I'm sure that's her voice.
Oh, okay. I was so stunned by the first scene with Margot Robbie, which looks like a Barbie. I'm like, what the? They do 2001 Space Odyssey thing. I was so cool.
It is very cool. But there's a voiceover talking about, like, since the beginning of time, little girls have had dolls. That's Helen Mirren. I'm certain that's Helen Mirren.
July 2023. How long do we have to talk about this film before it comes out? Like, we've been talking about it for ages.
And the crazy thing is, if nothing changes, it's out on the same day as Oppenheimer, the Christopher Nolan movie about the atomic bomb, and I'm definitely more excited to see the Barbie movie.
100%. I'm not watching Christopher Nolan. No, I'm watching the Barbie movie. But I really hope it's good, because we've been talking about it by July 2023, it'll be a year nearly. Yeah,
I think it will either be amazing or it'll go down as like a really astonishing failure. So it'll be interesting to see either way. But I hope it's good, because the cast and everyone making it is phenomenal.
Incredible.
So,
yeah, everybody's in it.
Yeah, they really are. So yeah, so that's my favourite album of the year is Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers.
Did he play anything else apart from the album, or
Oh
did
yeah,
he
he
just
did.
go?
So a big part of why Helen Mirren's voiceover was there, I think, was to connect new songs to old songs and stuff. So there would be like, he'd do a song off the new album, and then Helen Mirren would come in and talk about how the song. She wouldn't just say this; it was written better, but she'd basically talk about how the song was a reflection of his ego, and how he needs to learn to rein it in, and then he would do Humble. If you see, like he'd kind of make it all thematically linked together. There's a bit in one of the songs on the new album where he talks about how on the Good Kid, Mad City tour he slept with a white girl.
Yeah.
And he does that bit of that song and then launches into like a medley of stuff off. He does like Backseat Freestyle and a few other things off Good Kid, Mad City. So yeah, he totally brings it mostly focuses on. It's like 50% of the set was new stuff off Mr. Morale, and then the other 50% was a mix of all the other three albums, Good Kid, Damn, and To Pimp a Butterfly, and it was incredible. I loved it. The only bad thing was that the t-shirts were rubbish, so I didn't buy a t-shirt. But other than that, it was pretty great.
Yeah. Great list, man. Really.
Thank you.
Really good. Yeah.
Thank you so much. What have you got?
So I've got some that are equal to you. So I didn't make a list because you're the list person and I'm the rogue person. Everybody wins in my 2022 end of year extravaganza. So like you, I have Taylor Swift's Midnights, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Unlimited Love, Kendrick Lamar's Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. We liked those two, the last two albums I mentioned so much that we actually made specials. So, great albums. And then I've got an album from a K-pop super band, Blackpink. They released an album, which is not really an album. It's more like a extended play. It's only like 25 minutes or something. Born Pink. It's definitely a great album to listen to. It's got more influences from the girls. And lots of English songs, which I particularly don't like too many English songs. Usually when it comes to K-pop or J-pop artists, I prefer them to sing their own language because they're better. But it works because two of the members actually lived most of their lives in Australia and New Zealand, and one of the members is Thai, so it kind of works that they sing also in English because they all kind of speak a different language. So it's quite interesting, really good album. Did you have a listen to it by any chance?
Only the singles, which I did like, so I should listen to it at some point. Yeah, is it Pink Venom? Is that the big single?
Tastes like pink venom, tastes like... Yes, it is.
It's a good song. Good song.
Get it. But it's only 20 minutes, so if you have 20 minutes...
No, I know. I just keep. There's been so many albums out there at the end of this year that I've just not. Yeah,
it's been a great music year, and
really
then also on my top list, I've got an artist that I've never really listened to, but I really enjoyed this album. FKA Twigs, Capri Songs, and then another first for me, Niloufer Yanya. Released Painless this year, and I think is a great album, and I listened to it a lot and I really enjoy it. And then Beyonce's released this year, Renaissance. Yes. Love this album. It's great, like a bit like Taylor Swift. She kind of changed and evolved her sound, and she doesn't compromise, and I really like this album. It's dancey. She's back in a club, and it's good and very popular. If you're on TikTok, most of the songs are on like a little dance routine. Have you given much time to this album?
No, I listened to half of it or so once, and it seemed good, but it's in a genre that I don't really, dance music and things isn't really my vibe, so I've not really given it much of a chance. At some point I will, but it came out in the summer when I was pretty busy, And then in the autumn and the winter, it's just been one album after another. So I haven't gone back to Renaissance yet, but I will eventually, I'm sure, because Lemonade is a phenomenal piece of work. So I'm excited to see anything else that she's done. So
Yes, definitely. And then an album that I spoke constantly to you about this summer, and I was like, you need to listen. I don't know if you have listened. Lizzo's released this year a special. You're special. No.
yeah.
Really, I really enjoy this album, and I feel like this album is more. I don't know. I never really. I liked individual songs, Lizzo songs, but I never really enjoyed her albums. But I really like this one. I like how it starts. I like where it goes, and it's just a great album, and I listen to it a lot. Then a surprise on my 8 hour layover, I kind of got a little bit obsessed with Taylor Swift and 1975. So I found that day or a couple of days before, MIA released a new album after 6 years called Matter. And I love her style. I love what she says. She might be a bit of a controversial artist when it comes to certain things, but I think it's a really good album that includes lots of like different music, and she's a great artist. And yeah, sometimes maybe there's some things that she says that might be not right, but as an artist and as an album is a really really good album. And I think my top album of the year is an artist I love, King Princess's Hold On Baby. I think it's a
Good
great album. It talks about her and life in general, and being in lockdown and doing the same things every day. And I really really enjoyed this album. And yeah, and that's my top artist.
Good picks.
Are you there?
Yeah, no, sorry, I got distracted by something.
We're supposed to do a podcast. You can't get distracted.
Well, sorry, I can't. Yeah, I like your list.
Good.
I like that King Princess album. I listened to it once or twice and liked it, so I should listen to it more. Cause
Yeah,
it
definitely.
Seems pretty good. The old King Princess.
They are a great artist.
They are a great artist. So yeah, that was good. That was our music choices of the year. Up next, shall we do TV?
Yes, TV shows. Great year for
Good.
TV shows this year.
Crazy good year for TV shows. I don't normally manage to get a top 10 together, but this year I had to like cut stuff out and be quite selective. So it's been good. I've enjoyed TV this year, so let's talk about it. I've got a list again, so I'll start with my number 10.
Yes.
And my number 10 is at number 10 because I've only watched 3 episodes of it so far. It could easily move higher up the list as I go. So it is the latest Netflix slam dunk smash hit, Wednesday.
Yeah. Great
Have you seen
news. Yeah, of course I've seen it. I've watched all the episodes in like 2
All
days
of
or
them?
something. Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
Terrible. Yeah. Yeah.
It's pretty good. I like it so far. I think that the highlight of it is Jenna Ortega as
100%.
because she's been great. Like I first saw her in, what did she show up in before this? She was in Scream.
Yeah, an
Oh.
X.
Yes, so she's in
Yes.
X, and she's very good in X, like
Yeah.
really good in X. Her character, she's probably got the character that goes on the biggest journey throughout that film, I think. Anyway, she's very good in X, and she's very good in the Scream movie. And from those 2 movies, I was like, Jenna Ortega's pretty good. And then, Wednesday, wow, she
Incredible.
is phenomenal in
Yeah.
the role, especially because if you're not good, you're going to get torn
Yeah.
apart.
Yeah.
Because Christina Ricci has already perfected it in the past.
Exactly.
When she was like 10 years old. So you've got to come. And Jenna Ortega was perfectly cast in it. She's wonderful. The show around her seems a bit more, like, people are talking about it as being a bit as big a hit as Stranger Things, and the difference with Stranger Things is Stranger Things feels like a complete world and a complete work, whereas this feels a bit more like a TV show. the actors in it feel more like TV actors. Like particularly, there's a guy playing the sheriff who just is like very much. I've turned up and I'm suspicious of
Yeah.
you. Like it feels a bit more kind of cliche and typical, but it's got Wednesday Addams at the centre of it, and that's a great character, and it really works. And yeah, I'm enjoying
Yeah.
it. What do you think of it, having watched all of it?
Like, I really enjoyed it, and Jenna Ortega is amazing. It's not perfect. It's got lots of flaws. It's maybe for us, maybe we're a bit too old for it, because it's just a little bit bland, and maybe the story is not as complex as it could be.
Yeah.
However, I really Jenna Ortega kind of like carries the show, and the more you watch the show, the more the characters develop better, and they become more, they get more into their character, and the chemistry changes. And so it's got lots of flaws, and you can't compare it at all to Stranger Things. Like, Stranger Things is, there are some flaws, but it's not like this. This is more kind of a TV show that you can enjoy watching without being too nervous about it. But it's good. It's a good show, and I think maybe a second season would make it better. And yeah, and it's entertaining, and that's the good thing. Is also it's really entertaining without being too serious. Yeah.
I would agree with that. Yeah, it is entertaining. Like the 3 episodes I watched are really enjoyable. There's really good moments in them. Like the first episode has got, a lot of good stuff in it, but the bit where she is playing the cello on the roof and the way like
amazing.
Jenna Ortega plays it, like just does it really well as Wednesday. That's brilliant. Episode 2 has got the Po Cup, the canoe race, which is really
so
good and entertaining, and like a great throwback to Addams Family Values. And episode 3 has got there's a whole sequence set at like this outreach day thing in the town. A statue ends up getting set on fire, which is a cool bit.
So
and then it's got this montage showing how all the characters are kind of finishing their day at the end of the episode, and that the montage has got a instrumental cover of Nothing Else Matters by Metallica playing over it, which is very cool. I love it.
In the next episode, you spend more time with her family, which is interesting.
Yeah, I'm intrigued to see more of them, because I'm pretty on board for Catherine Zeta-Jones as Morticia, but I'm still need to be convinced by Louise Guzman as Gomez, because it's so different to what Raul Julia was doing in the 90s that I want to just I don't know how I feel about him, but we'll see. He's a good actor.
I think in the next episode you'll like him more, and you see more of a relationship between him and Wednesday, and it's and also a relationship between Catherine Zeta, like Morticia, and Wednesday. You see it more how their dynamics work. But
because I mean Gomez has had about 5 lines so far, so it's not been enough time.
Yeah.
So, but right, I mean, off the back of watching a couple of episodes of Wednesday, I went back and watched the films from the 90s again. And
so good.
Raul Julia as Gomez is one of the all-time. Just every single line of dialogue he has is amazing. He's so good. So it's hard. It's a hard one to top.
No,
as
absolutely.
is Angelica Houston as Morticia, and Christina Ricci as Wednesday, and Christopher Lloyd as Uncle Fester.
It must have been so hard in a way for Jenna Ortega to take the role as Wednesday, but also having Christina Ricci in front of her acting.
Oh yeah,
Like,
but you'd hope that Christina Ricci provided support as well. I imagine she was quite nice.
Apparently they were all really cool about it, but it must, whatever support you have, you're still in front of.
Oh no,
Wednesday,
definitely, yeah.
And it must have been quite like nerve-wracking. They go, oh crap, I need to do a good job because she's amazing.
Yeah, because rewatching those movies again, you're just like, wow, like she was like 10 years old in the first one, and she just is perfect.
Yeah, so good.
So
great choice.
Thank you. So that's my number 9. No, sorry, that's my number 10. My number 9 is a show that you probably haven't watched and probably will never watch, but I enjoyed it, but I don't know if enjoyed is the right word, because it was a tough, horrible watch. I watched Monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer story.
Oh my goodness! I watched the trailer and I was like, oh no, thank you very much.
It's the story of Jeffrey Dahmer, one of the most unpleasant men to ever live, serial killer in America. what I liked about the show was it shows you what happened to him and how he became who he was a little bit, or at least, our best guess as to how he became who he was and what his life was like. But it also really, because it's quite long, it's like 10 episodes, it really takes time to dig into the people around him and how he affected them. So in particular, Richard Jenkins as his dad, Lionel Dahmer, does a very good role. He has to really reckon with the fact that he might be partly responsible. Who knows how somebody becomes like that, but there's scenes in it where Jeffrey Dahmer is a young boy and his dad's helping him pick up roadkill off the road and practice taxidermy on it, like stuffing these animals, and he's got to sit there and be like, well, am I partly to blame for encouraging this kind of obsession with the macabre? But then there's loads of people around the world that do taxidermy. It doesn't mean you're going to be a serial killer. It's just like, how do you reckon with that?
Was he a cannibal?
So he like cooked his victims and ate bits of their flesh, and he drilled holes in, while they were still alive, he'd drill holes in their heads and pour acid in to try and turn them into zombies. Like properly distressingly disturbing things that he used to.
He's watch stuff like that.
The worst man. Well, that isn't really portrayed, like it's talked about, but you don't see too much of that. There was a woman who was his, like, and it also shines a light on some of the, like, there's one case in particular where I had a 14-year-old boy with him in his flat, and this boy escaped and collapsed outside because he's been drugged, and his neighbour, this woman, found this boy, called the police, and then Jeffrey Dahmer turned up and said, oh, it's my boyfriend, we've just had an argument, I'll take him back in. And the police helped him to get him back into the flat and then left. And it's a real element of, like, because Jeffrey Dahmer was gay and he was describing this person as his boyfriend, the police were like, we don't want anything to do with this is gross to us, so we're gonna, so like that's awful, and that's definitely something that people should be aware of, that some of these murders are at obviously Jeffrey Dahmer did it, but there is culpability to go around.
But he was a 14-year-old boy.
Yeah, but they Jeffrey Dahmer was like, no, he's not, he's 21 or whatever, and the police just believed him. They didn't check on him.
What the hell?
And that really happened. Like, there's an episode that ends by playing the real 9 police emergency call that this neighbour made, and then there's a whole episode that follows this woman, the neighbour, who had been like trying to sound the alarm for months before he got caught. Distressing stuff. But the show's good. Evan Peters plays Jeffrey Dahmer. And he's very good. Evan Peters is very good in the role. And it's a good show, but it's a tough watch, and I wouldn't recommend it to everyone. But I don't know if I can say I enjoyed it, but I'm glad I watched it. Anyway.
Is it on Netflix?
Yes, it's a Netflix show, and it's going to be an anthology series. So this is called Monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer story, and apparently they're going to make other Monster, the something story seasons. So we'll see who they decide to shine a light on next. Ed Gein, maybe. But anyway, Ed Gein he was a grave robber in like the 50s in America, and Leatherface from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre is loosely based on him.
Oh, okay.
As is what's his name from Psycho?
Yeah.
Norman Bates.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Bad guy. But not a serial killer, because he only killed 2 people.
Interesting.
But he dug up lots more and made a belt made of human nipples, so... Lovely guy. Anyway.
Anywho.
Number 8, I've gone for... So of the Marvel TV shows that were on this year, Moon Knight didn't quite make my top 10, but I did enjoy Moon Knight. The 2 that did make my top 10 are the next 2 in my list, and at number 8 I've got Miss Marvel, a show that you are a bit hot and cold on, I think it's fair to say.
If you think about the kind of stuff I like, slice of life, coming of age, kind of that, I had high expectations, and I did enjoy it. I just felt like, what is that? What are you doing with your hand?
High expectations, but the reality.
But the reality, I wasn't really sold on it. I think Miss Marvel is great. I think the relationship with her parents is fine, but just the guys around her are just so bland that they kind of like, But it was fun. It was a fun watch. I didn't mind it. It wasn't as good as I was expecting, but it was good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think the love interest boy and the best friend boy were very boring, dull, but she's great.
Yeah.
And this doesn't really affect the quality of it, but you can talk about how it's nice to have representation for people that don't normally get representation in superhero media. And I thought the relationship she has with her parents in it is really lovely. The actors playing her parents are really good, and I don't know, I just liked it. I thought it was a good sort of light-hearted bit of fun. Yes. Similar to the next one, which I loved, She-Hulk Attorney at Law. She-Hulk's a character that I really like. Breaks the fourth wall, but not in the way that, not as teenage boyishly as Deadpool does. And played by Tatiana Maslany, who's an actress that I really, really like, and it's nice to see her on a bigger stage, getting a bigger audience. And I just really loved this show. I thought it was funny and well written, and I liked it didn't have an overarching story, really. Each episode was its own thing a lot of the time. You've got the episode of Benedict Wong playing Wong and dealing with magicians that are stealing his magic powers that he doesn't like. You've got the episodes, Tim Roth's retreat for anger management stuff, which I liked that episode. There's an episode of Daredevil in it where they take down Frogman, which was my favourite episode of the season. And then it all goes a bit off the rails and crazy and mad at the end in a meta way. But I was there for the whole thing and I enjoyed it. How did you feel about it?
I watched it. I promised I would watch it, and you said you have to watch it, and I watched all episodes, so you wouldn't come for me when I didn't particularly. I didn't like it very much. I found it very I found it bland, more bland than the characters in Miss Marvel. I think Miss Marvel was much better. I really didn't like the meta thing at the end. I thought that was weird. It was just like, why do you have to explain to me why you're doing this? Just do it. I like Tatiana Maslany. I think she did her best in kind of like a weird script thing. There are some funny moments. I really liked Wong and the relationship with this like random girl that he meets and they start watching the Bachelor. I thought that was really fun. I found her assistant really annoying.
Oh, okay. I didn't.
Yeah.
Really.
But I don't know. I'm hoping that maybe next, if they do another season, maybe it'll be better. Maybe this was just like teething things and make it better. But I didn't particularly enjoy it, unfortunately. But I did watch it.
That's just fair. No, I liked it. I was on board. I thought it was brilliant. So yeah, that's She-Hulk Attorney at Law. Number 6 is a show that you probably haven't seen, but it is an obsession at the moment for me. It's still on and it's not finished yet.
Okay.
It's a show called The Traitors on the BBC, and the only it's the type of show that I never would normally watch, which is a reality sort of competition show. I never watch that kind of thing, like I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here and stuff like that. It's not really for me. But something about this has really hooked me in. I started watching it just because me and my housemate a few weeks ago were watching the England World Cup match. I think it was the one against America. And it ended, and then we were too lazy to change the channel on the television. And the next thing on BBC One just
is there one of those
started.
1950s television where you have to
No,
stand
the
up
remote
and
was there. We
press a
just like
button?
there was nothing that either was particularly wanted to watch, so we just kind of let it continue. And then this show started, and it looked awful, and we were both like, "God, this looks terrible." But we just let it play out, and we got hooked into it pretty quickly.
Okay.
And the idea is that the BBC have collected together 22 of the worst people they could find, magicians and actors and all sorts of lunatics, and they've put them all up for however long in this castle in the Scottish Highlands, and every day they have to do like a mission, which could be like rolling barrels of various sizes up a hill in a certain time limit, or solving riddles, or there's a great one where they have to they split them into 2 sets of groups, and one group has to go to a church and play a song on the church bells, and the other group has to work out what song it is and find an answer to a riddle as a result of the song. And some of them are just not able to do this bell. Anyway, it's so funny.
Yeah.
And then, based on how well they do in the game, they add a certain amount of money to the prize fund, and at the end, everyone will split the prize fund between themselves. The twist is that in the first episode, the host, who is the new Davina McCall, Claudia Winkleman, picks.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's not one of my. I don't. It's good in spite of Claudia Winkleman's presence. But she picks 3 of the people at random to be traitors, and those 3 people are, if by the end of the series there is still a traitor left in the group, then the traitors will take all of the money, and the faithful, who are the non-traitors, will get nothing. And if the faithful can find all the traitors, then they can split the prize between themselves. So at the start you've got 18. It's about, there's like 18 faithful and 3 traitors or something like that at the start. So, or 19, I don't. The thing that happens every day is, first of all, after the mission, they have a thing called the round table, where they all go into this room with a big round table in it, and they all sit around the table, so they're looking at each other, and they have to have a discussion about who they all think might be a traitor. Okay. And accusations start flying. There's an episode early on where they all do a cheers, and one person doesn't pick up their glass and chair, so somebody starts being like, oh, that was suspicious, maybe you're a traitor. And it's like the evidence they put forward is as flimsy as that. And also, the person who didn't cheer only has one arm, so you can imagine there's a reason that they didn't.
That's so what? So,
yeah.
Okay.
And the glass was on the side of their non-arm, so they didn't want to reach anyway. But they get accused of being a traitor for this, because these people are just insane. And also, to be fair, you are picking it like there's. All you've done is play a game together for the day. Like, there's nothing to go on, so they just have to kind of like, they grab onto any idea they can to suggest it. So they have a discussion about who they think is the traitor. Then everyone has to write down on a chalkboard who they think, one person that they think might be a traitor, and whoever gets the most votes gets banished from the game and has to leave forever. And before they leave, they have to turn around and tell everyone whether they are a traitor or a faithful.
Okay.
And so after these these discussions get so intense, they're yelling, they're screaming, they're crying. There's one episode where this guy has to like leave the room to have he starts hyperventilating. He can't handle the emotions because people are accusing him of being a traitor. It's crazy. And then when somebody inevitably gets banished and they turn around and they say they were faithful, and everyone's like, no, we got rid of what have we done? It's so, like, it's created this absolute cult mentality in them in just like a couple of episodes. It's crazy. And then what happens, once they've done the banishment, everyone goes to bed, and the people who are traitors meet secretly in the middle of the night and pick one person to kill. And that person gets taken out of the game forever. So every episode, 2 people get kicked out. So it moves pretty quickly.
Wow.
And then they all get up the next morning and they all go down to breakfast, and they all come into the breakfast room 2 at a time. So by the end, there's only a couple of people left to come in, and everyone's like, oh my God, who's been killed? Who's it going to be? And then eventually one person will walk in and everyone will be like, yay! But then people have started weeping and sobbing at the breakfast table because their best mate's been killed. It's so intense. To the point where, like, I was reading an interview of one of the people who have been on it, and she was talking about the duty of care the BBC has for it is really good and strong. On set, they all had like a counsellor or a welfare officer who looked after them, made sure they were okay behind the scenes. And then since they filmed it, every day that it's been airing before the episode comes on, each of them get a phone call from their welfare officer checking up on them and making sure they know what's going to happen in the episode, so there's no surprises and stuff. And that's nice to hear. That doesn't change the show itself, but it's nice to hear that, they're taking it seriously, because part of me wonders whether they started making the show and within a couple of days all the producers must have been like, oh, this is a bit more than we expected, actually.
They're going rogue.
they're going absolutely wild.
Yeah.
And it's still on. The final 3 episodes are going to be on next week, and I cannot wait. And I don't care about stuff like this. I don't watch TV like this, but gosh, The Traitors is something else. I really like it.
You just like people going insane, don't you?
I do like watching people lose their minds. Yeah. It's really, like, the paranoia, the levels of paranoia is crazy. And like, there's one episode where one of the traitors goes in on a, like, betrays another traitor, because it is genuinely incredible television. I love it.
I say, you can betray another traitor.
Well, you shouldn't
didn't think
have to,
about
but like
that.
when you're doing the round table thing, if suddenly the spotlight starts to move towards you, maybe you throw another traitor under the bus to try and it's God, it's
You know, I can
like
play that game. Can you imagine me? I'll probably forget the rules at some point and go like, oh.
No, it's
Amazing.
It's great
Sounds
stuff.
good.
So yeah, I'd recommend anyone who can access the iPlayer, get on and watch The Traitors. It's just phenomenal television. It's so good. Right, after that, now we're in the top 5. All of these could have been in any other year, could have been number 1 because that's how good this year's been for TV.
Yeah.
So let's go. And at number 5, the Apple TV Plus original Severance, directed in part by Ben Stiller.
Yeah.
We talked about this. It's the one where when you go to work, you go into the elevator and then your work self takes over your body, and then when you leave work, your out of work self takes back over, and you like the two personalities don't know what happens in and out of work. So
amazing.
It's a
That'd be
cool
great.
concept, and then well, you'd think it would be great, but then the way like after watching a season of the show, you're like, no, that would be hellish, the worst thing that could happen. Because you're essentially creating a version of yourself that, like, for the you that's out of work, that's lovely, but for the you that's in work, you never see outside, you never see the sun, you live in an office, and you never get to experience sleep. You just suddenly, you're refreshed and have to carry on working at some point. It would be horrible. So it's a fascinating concept, and they explore every facet of it in the show, and it's great. Adam Scott stars in it, and he's wonderful. He's the only person really for the majority of the show that you see in and out of work. His colleagues you mostly just see in the office, but you know, as the show goes on, you get a bit more of that. And it's great. Christopher Walken's in there, John Turturro's in there. It's good stuff. It's really, really good, Severance. So well done them. I can't wait for season 2, and you should definitely check it out.
I need to get Apple TV Plus. There's quite a good few things I would love to watch.
It has been pretty good. Yeah, it's the kind of thing that you can get for a bit and then take away again because it doesn't. But yeah, you've got that. There's a spy show called Slow Horses, which is
and there's something that's been
really good. There's Pachinko.
That one is, I
Korean
really would love to
drama.
watch.
Ted Lasso is very good. The football coach thing.
Yeah, and then there's a film with Dakota Johnson. I think it's
there's some. Yeah, I've not watched
Cha-Cha
that.
Real Slow or something.
Yeah,
I really would
that's
like
it.
to watch. Yeah,
Or Cha-Cha Real Smooth, is it? Or Cha-Cha Real
Smooth,
Slow?
not slow. Yeah, because it's the American dance, isn't it?
Yeah, I
Cha-Cha
think so.
Real Smooth. Yeah.
But yeah, no, Apple TV has some good stuff worth checking out. So yeah, that's Severance. After that, in number 4, we've got Oh My Word. Didn't expect anything from this. Was actively kind of against it, but it completely turned itself around for me because I absolutely love it. It is the Game of Thrones spin-off House of the Dragon.
Yes.
Yeah, and because Game of Thrones didn't end that long ago, and it was bad, and
you always change your mind. Sometimes you're like, maybe it wasn't that bad, and sometimes you're like, bad.
It's pretty bad. Like Game of Thrones as a whole, like it's not all about the destination, is it? With TV, it should be about the journey as well. And like as a whole, Game of Thrones is phenomenal. One of my favorite things that's ever been. But the final couple of episodes, really. I liked it longer than like a lot of people started turning against it earlier than I did. But like you can't. It was such a pity what happened to that. But as a result, I was a bit like, they're not getting me again. I'm not watching more Game of Thrones stuff. I am, it turns out, because wow, first season of House of Dragon is phenomenal. If you haven't ever seen Game of Thrones, don't worry about it. It's set like 200 years before. It doesn't matter. The cast is incredible. Matt Smith is really, really good as Prince. I can't remember anyone's names, but he's great. Because everyone's called like Viserys or Daenerys or Badaris, Bajaris, Menaris, Kadaris. Like they've all got the same name, but it was like one letter different. So I don't remember. But Daemon actually, it's called Daemon, Prince Daemon. That's Matt Smith's names. Yeah, but the Princess Rhaenyra and then the King Viserys and then the original Daenerys is in Game. I don't know. Anyway.
Okay.
Prince Daemon is very good. There's a lot of other amazing actors. David Tennant's son is in it. I didn't know it was David Tennant's son until recently, but David Tennant's son's very good in it. Paddy Considine, who I adore, Paddy Considine, he's so good in it as the King Viserys. You see him sort of change over the course of the season, and watching that is great, and he plays it so well. So yeah, House of Dragon, phenomenal stuff. And upsettingly, we're not going to get any more until 2024. Because I think, it takes a lot to make, and I think they were waiting to see how the first season did before they commissioned a second. So we've got a bit of a wait on our hands.
Yeah, not
we'll
like
see.
the show that you were really excited about.
What, in January?
The Lord of the Rings show, and then they commissioned it for 5. The commission for 5 series, and it's total garbage.
Yeah, and it started at the same time as House of Dragon, and I was really excited about that and not excited about House of Dragon. And it turned out House of Dragon, great. Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power, big pile of poo. What are you going to do about it? And yeah, they've committed to 5 seasons of that, so whether we like it or not, there's going to be much more. And I'll carry on watching it because it's Lord of the Rings, but they really need to find a way to right the shit, because that first season was rubbish. But anyway, number 3. The next 3 are all things that we've both watched. In at number 3,
yes,
phenomenal TV. You don't know what I'm about to say.
I know what you're about to say.
Stranger Things 4.
Yes, baby.
Yeah.
Best TV ever.
Pretty high up there. Pretty phenomenal that we got this year, and it's only at number 3 on my list.
So good.
Just destroyed me. The best episode of television this year was in this season of Stranger Things with Max and the grave and the
my
up the hill. Oh, it still makes me emotional when I think about it. That
was so good.
Yeah,
broke me in tiny little pieces, and it still does.
Yeah, for a TV show that I had liked for 3 seasons to come back with a season this strong is impressive, because I like it more than the other seasons. I think this might be my favourite season of Stranger Things. With a bit of time. Maybe the first season, I'm not sure, but good lord, it was good. And I cannot wait for the next season of it. So yeah, Stranger Things 4, we've talked about it a lot. We've got like 2 episodes talking about Stranger Things, so go back and listen to them. But wow.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. Loved it from beginning to end.
This season was like real, like heart wrenching, all the things that happened, and the fact they ended also not positively, not happily. Like it's and the fact
not
that
at all.
we only have one more, and then that's the end of like one of the best TV shows ever made.
Yep.
But I'm glad it's finishing in a good note. If it's gonna finish, with a bang bang.
Absolutely. In at number 2, the actual end of actually one of the best TV shows ever made. Better Call Saul finished this year, and again we've got several episodes on Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul, and it destroyed us.
So good, so good.
There will not. I don't know if there'll be a finale of a TV season as good as the finale of this any time soon. But again, go back and listen to our episodes on it.
We have 3 episodes on.
Yeah.
We have 2 episodes on Better Call Saul, 1 episode on the universe of.
Yeah, and
So
and the exciting thing is that Vince Gilligan is back I think on Apple TV at some point in the future with a TV show that's going to star Rhea Seehorn, who played Kim Wexler in Better Call Saul. So I'm so hyped for that. So there will be more good stuff to come from the creative team behind this in the future, but the actual Breaking Bad universe for now is closed, and they did it. They signed it off pretty well. So
the best is the thing that we both thought is the best.
So yeah, the number. Good, because so like Stranger Things and Better Call Saul is like amazing things coming to a close, but the best TV show of the year is a new beginning, something brand new that came out of nowhere to shock us all. The Bear. The Bear. Perfect television.
The Bear.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. What a TV show. And I was so happy that we talked about The Bear and you said, I'm at this episode a couple of episodes ago, and you were at episode...
like 5, I think.
5, and I said, wait until episode 6 or the next episode. And then you texted me and you're like, what? There's one episode that gives you straight up palpitations and makes you feel sick.
Yeah.
It's just incredible.
Yeah, and it all feels like it's all going to fall apart, and then the finale is just cathartically wonderful, and it destroys you like when you realise what happened and you realise what his brother did, and like they're all. I don't want to spoil it because people might not have watched it, but like that finale is phenomenal.
Yeah.
And it really makes me excited to see more of The Bear. It's funny, it's heartfelt, it's heart-wrenching, it's
Yeah.
well produced and acted and directed, and the soundtrack is truly
Amazing.
phenomenal. Yeah, The Bear is something pretty special, I think. So I'm
and
excited.
it's real. It's something that it could be so relatable, and the characters are so relatable.
Yeah,
And
it feels like it's fallen right out of 70s cinema to me.
yeah. And it's filmed in an incredible way, and it's such a good show. And I'm gonna watch it again during the Christmas holidays because I binged it and I just need to watch it again. That's it. Because it's so
yeah.
good. And did you love how the show ended?
Oh yeah.
The
with
last little bit, I was just
sign
like,
on the door. Yeah.
I was just so excited. I was like, oh my! I've never been so kind of, when you watch something by yourself and you have emotions, but you don't project them out loud. And this show kind of made me project certain emotions out loud without having anybody to share them with. And so the last kind of moment when that music starts again, you go like, oh, and it's so great. It's such a great show.
Agreed, 100%. So good. Yeah, The Bear. Have you got any other shows that I haven't mentioned that you want to highlight?
I've got, of course, Stranger Things, Better Call Saul, Wednesday, The Bear, Euphoria. This year, season 2 of Euphoria came out.
Oh yes.
And I think I didn't really enjoy season 1. It was just a little bit too much, but I think season 2 is much better. Zendaya's performance is incredible in it. And then Russian Doll season 2.
Oh yeah, that was good.
That was really, really good. The concept changed this time, and she, instead of like loop, she went back in time. And Natasha Lyonne is great in it, and it's I thought season 2 was great. Just very recently, The White Lotus season 2 has come out, and in Italy they've released 6 episodes, and on Monday there's going to be the 7th episode, which is the final episode. Oh my goodness, it's a journey, and it's so different from season 1 but so similar in certain aspects, but it kind of portrays a very different kind of society within the it's still got the kind of like the wealth and the wealthy people, like people that have always been rich, people that have just gotten rich, but it's very different. It's not always at the White Lotus Resort. It moves more this time. It goes to other places and it moves from the White Lotus. And it's really good. The soundtrack is incredible. They use a lot of mainly Italian music, with one of like the best artists that's ever been in Italy, Fabrizio De André. Lots of his songs, lots of Italian actors, which is really good to see. It's really well done, and Mike White has definitely got a love for cinema and society, and it's amazing. It's really, really good. Whilst I don't know if I like it more than the first one. I think I might do.
Wow, that's big words.
Yeah, but I want you to watch it. But I'm really, really enjoying it.
I watched episode 1. I've moved house recently, and it started right around the time all that happened, so I didn't really get a chance to watch it properly. But I've watched episode 1, and I liked episode 1 a lot. And it's got another really phenomenal cast.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see more of it.
Yeah. Aubrey Plaza is incredible in it.
Yeah.
She's just amazing, and no, it's great. And there's a lot to think about in this one. There's definitely, although there were lots of layers in the first one, and the first one is incredible, this one is just you're really not sure who to trust. There's lots of trust issues in this one. Loads. And I'm really looking forward to episode 7. I'm glad that it hasn't come out in Italy yet, because I nearly watched 3 episodes yesterday, and it was like 3 hours. It's 3 hours of White Lotus, but I was like, it's not out yet. But there are a lot of at the moment I'm really hating the internet because whatever you like, there are plenty of spoilers. So unless you unless you just kind of filter through stuff, you just have to watch stuff before somebody spoils it. I never minded spoilers, but when it comes to certain things like the White Lotus and, you know, even Wednesday, the dance. Oh, have you seen the dance? The school
No,
dance
but
on
I
Wednesday?
haven't seen the dance now, but I know that there's a dance that's cool.
And I just like, so annoying because I really wanted to experience it with the show for the first time rather than with TikTok, but never mind.
Sorry.
Never mind. And I think, and then Atlanta series season 3.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Amazing show. I didn't realize there was a season 4 that already has come out this year.
Yeah, I
so
know, it's
need
crazy.
I didn't realize. So I need to watch that. And I don't think it's out in Italy yet, but incredible. You know, it's weirder than it was before, and they're touring Europe, and it's a great show. And I think season 3 is probably maybe my favorite. And then I think a show that could get better, but I think the message is in it, and I really enjoy watching it, is Heartstopper.
Oh yes, yeah, I want to watch Heartstopper properly.
Yeah, and it's the adaptation from the graphic novel, and it talks about these these students finding themselves, realizing who they are, and I think it's a really positive show about inclusivity and positivity. So I really like that. And those are my shows this year. I think they're really top shows.
Yeah, good shows. Atlanta, something I need to properly catch up on, definitely.
Yeah, they're all on.
It's all on Disney Plus.
It's all in Disney Plus, but I'm not sure if season 4 is on Disney Plus because I didn't.
No, but I haven't seen season 2, so I can wait.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, cool. Shall we hit the big one then? Shall we do films?
This is a big one. Yes, of course.
This is a big one.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I'd realised that I watched more. I didn't watch many films this year, but I think I can do it.
Cool. Well, I watched enough to do it. Well, I watched like hundreds.
I know. I was looking at your list on Letterboxd, and I was like, "What the?"
Well, I can show you. I've got a list here. I won't show you the top, but this is without the top 10 on it. This is all the films I watched this year that came out this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy. Yeah, you're crazy. Only the one, but those are the only ones that came out this year. Like you watched other films.
Yeah. I mean, I can look on Letterboxd and get my stats up. My cool stats.
You're
Hang
so
on.
cool.
So this year, just in general, I have watched and logged on Letterboxd. The tension as it loads. 280 films.
Wow. How do you say that?
You have to pay for
okay. Okay.
Yeah, I'm an idiot.
Why are you an idiot?
Well, because I subscribe to Letterboxd, which is kind of unnecessary, but I like to be able to see the statistics and things. Like it tells you what you've watched the most times. I've watched X 3 times this year.
Oh my goodness.
Which is quite intense.
That's a lot of times.
And I've watched... and I've watched 124 films that came out this year.
Yeah, I looked at it and I was like, oh, wow. I watched not that many.
That's fine. But I can tell you my 10 favourite.
Yes, please. It's going to be difficult.
No, it's going to be super easy, barely an inconvenience. Okay. Are you ready?
I am so ready.
So, number 10
is
a film that you've seen because you told me you watched it earlier. The Menu.
Yes.
Yes, The Menu. The Menu is a film from directed by Mark Mylod, starring Ralph Fiennes, Anya Taylor-Joy, Nicholas Hoult, John Leguizamo, friend of the show.
Thank you for liking our post.
And it's it's a dark comedy, psychological thriller, satire of society, which we're all part of. A bit like The White Lotus in some ways, actually.
Yeah.
And it's set on basically Nicholas Hoult plays a guy who's taken his girlfriend, we think, to
don't spoil it.
And I'm not spoiling anything. To an exclusive island where there is a restaurant run by I don't know, iconic celebrity chef Julian Slowick,
Yeah.
who it's like £1,200 a head just to go and have the meal, and it's a whole experience. He tells a story with the food, all this kind of stuff that you see on shows like MasterChef, etc. But they all get there, the guests get there, and it becomes clear pretty quickly that something is wrong. And
so quickly, like so
Yeah.
quickly, like that. I found it unexpected that it was so quick that something was gonna go.
It's all a bit, and then but it sort of builds and goes crazy. So this movie really came out of nowhere, and like the trailers for it looked cool and looked good, and I was excited to see it. But I went to see it on my own on like a Saturday morning and just ended up having the best time watching it. I thought it was phenomenal.
So good.
What did you think?
Oh, well, it spoke to me because I those kind of places, kind of like I've had arguments with people about kind of those kind of
The foam,
the
the
foam
gel,
and that, and
the little spherical balls.
you know, and just it's that like for me personally, I find that food really pretentious, and the way that it's presented is pretentious, you know. But that's my opinion, you know. If you like it, you like it, good for you. But food is about memories, and it's not about you telling me how to experience my food. It's me experience my food the way I want to experience the food. So I really enjoyed that, and I found it hilarious. There were some bits that are just so funny.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just great and quite unexpected. Like I wasn't expecting certain things, and I loved Anya Taylor-Joy in it. So good.
Anya Taylor-Joy obviously is amazing. Nicholas Hoult, who's not one of my favourite actors.
So good.
Is very good
Yeah.
and like very unlikable
Yeah.
very quickly,
Yeah.
but like does it really well.
From the moment that he tells her not to smoke, he's so unlikable. Like from the
Yeah,
first
yeah,
second of it, you're just like, this guy, how is she with him?
Yeah, and then when she goes to try the oyster thing on the boat, and he like slaps her hand away and stuff, just a real piece of work, that guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you need to take a photo of it before. That's like, I don't feel as strongly as you do about pretentiousness and all of that stuff, but one thing I hate is people taking photographs of their food before they eat it. It drives me wild.
I like that. I do that.
No, I hate
As
a
a remembrance.
Well, the remembrance is the enjoyment of the eating of it. I don't know. I don't like it when
Yeah.
people get served a plate of food and the first thing they do is take their camera out and take a photo of it. For me, that's the thing that
Yeah.
gets on my nerves. And there's
Yeah.
that's a big bit of the film.
Yeah, that's a massive bit of a film. But that's the thing. I think food should be enjoyed as you want to enjoy it, like art or anything. And I hate when people tell me how I'm supposed to enjoy my food and give me one scallop and tell me that that's a what? What is it? Like on a rock. Why? Can you not just just put it on a plate?
See, I like stuff like that because I like weirdness and I like
Oh,
the
yeah,
idea of
you
being
do.
served a meal that's on like a pile of rocks and
Oh,
stuff.
goodness.
But the need to document every meal and put it on social media.
I
drives
don't.
me
Oh, but
crazy.
I don't put it on social media. I remember for the what I want to eat next. The next time I want to eat, and I remember how I felt.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
But yeah, the movie is cool,
Yeah.
and I really like the way it's shot and the way it's put together is really good, and the way that every time a course is served in a way in like a TV food show kind of way, it shows you like a little
Yeah.
video
So-
of the
yeah.
meal, and then on screen it explains what the food is and
Yeah.
stuff, and it gets a couple of really good jokes out of that as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, there's a bit where I won't spoil it, but there's a bit where another character is made to cook a meal very quickly, and then it just calls it like Bill's bullshit.
Oh
or
my goodness, that was so funny.
Yeah, it's pretty good stuff. Like the menu, the menu's unexpectedly wonderful. I would
so
definitely
good.
recommend people go and
Yeah.
check out the menu.
I watched it in a cinema in Japan pretty much by myself. There was nobody else in the cinema, and it was like
Wow.
pretty incredible experience. It was just like, yeah.
I bet it was. So that's number 10.
Yeah.
My number 9 is a movie that, again, I didn't really have much expectation for. And I don't really know why, other than just... I don't really know why, but it blew me away. Is number 9? My number 9 is Roald Dahl's Matilda the Musical.
Ah, I still need to watch that.
Which, yeah, well, there's a weird thing where it's out. It came out in the cinema in the UK, but I think the rest of the world have to wait until it hits Netflix
Yeah,
sometime.
I have to wait until 25th of December.
Yeah, which is we're quite. I mean, I guess Roald Dahl was from the UK,
Yeah.
and not a great guy by all accounts. But let's not worry too much about that right now.
Let's not worry about the artist. Let's concentrate on the art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's dead, so it's fine. Anyway, Matilda was like growing up. I was obsessed with reading, and like Matilda's whole story is about a young girl who is obsessed with reading and loves books and like the joy of books and reading and learning and all things. And the story of Matilda is one about the importance of good educators and good how important a good school life is for children and things like that. And it's all things that I think are really key and important and have a real impact on my life, both as a child and now as an adult. So the story of Matilda really resonates with me, and you've got to do it well if you're going to do it at all. And the movie from the 90s that Danny DeVito directed, other than being set in America and being an Americanized version of it, like, is great. And Pam Ferris as the Trunchbull in that movie is brilliant. Danny DeVito is brilliant. Mara Wilson as Matilda is amazing. Like an iconic role. So to come back and make a new one, you've got to do something good with it, and I suppose making it a musical is one way to do something good. And that was the kind of element of it that left me a bit not that excited about it, because I was a bit like, I don't really know why it needs to be a musical, or not that why it needs to be a musical, but sort of what are you adding to it by making it a musical. But the musical was written by Tim Minchin, who is a very accomplished musician and comedian, and is good at writing funny songs. And it turns out that he wrote a collection of really, really good tunes for this movie, and it really, really worked for me. I thought it was. I was basically crying from when it started to when it finished, and it just really, really, really blew me away. The cast is incredible. Like, it's pointless to compare them to the cast of the 90s one, but Stephen Graham, who was brilliant earlier this year or last year in Boiling Point and has been in loads of work, like, he's a great actor. Stephen Graham as Matilda's father, Mr. Wormwood, is great. Andrea Riseborough as Matilda's mother, Mrs. Wormwood, is really wonderful. The young actress who plays Matilda, her name is Alicia Ware, and apparently she's from Northern Ireland, I think, and she has a perfect sort of British accent in it, and she absolutely destroys it. Emma Thompson as the Trunchbull was probably the hardest role to play, because that's such a big character. And Pam Ferris did it so perfectly in the 90s. Emma Thompson is pretty brilliant. I didn't have any issues with her at all. I don't think she's quite there with Pam Ferris in terms of being iconic, but it's a pretty great, I can't have any complaints. And the character that really blew me away in this one was Lashana Lynch as Miss Honey, Matilda's teacher. She's just phenomenally good. Like, Lashana Lynch, she was in No Time to Die as a secret agent, and she killed it. She was in The Woman King this year as a African warrior, and she killed it. And now she's in this as like a quiet teacher, quiet, kind, gentle teacher. And again, like, Lashana Lynch proving herself again and again recently to be just phenomenal. And she's so good in it. And I really enjoyed it. And like I said, the songs are genuinely really good. I was humming and singing them when I came out of the cinema, and I think it does a great service to what is, I think, Roald Dahl's best story. So,
cool.
Yeah, are you interested to see it when it hits Netflix?
Yeah, I'm going to watch it on the 25th of December when it hits on Netflix.
What a lovely little Christmas gift.
Yeah, I'm really excited, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my number 9. Number 8 is a movie that you haven't seen and you will never watch. It is Terrifier 2. Do you know Terrifier 2?
No. Nor Terrifier 1.
Well, have you got a computer with Google in front of you?
Yeah.
Just go to Google Images and search for Art the Clown.
Oh goodness, what?
So Art, A-R-T, the Clown.
Why?
Just, you'll see.
Do I have to look at images?
Yeah, please, yeah.
Ugh. He looks horrible. He looks like a witch and a clown mixed together. I don't like it. Oh, and it's covered of blood. It's covered in blood. Why is it covered in blood?
Yeah. Are you looking at that picture?
Ugh, yeah. Too close. Yeah.
So, Terrifier 1 is a movie that came out about, I don't know, 5 years ago, 2017. Was made on a budget of nothing. Really, really cheap film. Is just basically a movie about a this clown, Art the Clown, played by David Howard Thornton, who has a background in mime. This clown just, terrorizes and murders a group of people in exceptionally violent and gory ways. It kind of stands out a bit because Art the Clown never speaks or talks or makes any sound at all. It's all, all of the menacing and terrifying is done through performance. And he, because he has a background in mime, it's a very strange, weird performance that he gives. It's quite memorable. So that movie came out in 2016 and was made on a tiny budget of $35,000, which is nothing. The director and writer, Damien Leone, decided to make a sequel. He wanted to make it a little bit more, ambitious, because the first one doesn't really have a story. It's literally just people being butchered by this clown guy. So he did a crowdfunding campaign to make the second one and managed to raise $250,000, which still, in Hollywood terms, is nothing. But he made this movie for $250,000. It's 2 hours and 18 minutes long, which for a slasher movie is obscene.
Yeah.
Obscenely long. And it is again about this clown turns up in a place, starts terrorizing people, and there's a girl who ends up fighting him, and it has a lot more mythology going on. It's got a lot of weird, almost David Lynchian oddness to it. It's a weird, strange film. It's extraordinarily violent to the point where when it premiered in America, immediately news stories were coming out about people vomiting and passing out and having to have ambulances called for them. Yeah, and normally stuff like that, like sometime every so often a horror film will come out and there'll be articles about that and people be like, that's not really true. For this one, people are like, yeah, that happened. That it is viciously violent and gory to like a degree that I've not really seen in a movie before. But I really appreciate and respect the fact that this guy made it on $250,000 with no backing from anyone, really. Just crowdfunded it and made it and put it out there into the world, and it's been a sleeper smash hit sensation. It's made $12 million at the box office since it came out at the sort of the end of the summer, start of the autumn, and I don't know. It's grimy and horrible and weird and vicious, but it's also strange and odd and a complete vision of this one creative person who decided to make this terrifying horror movie. And I have a lot of respect for the fact that they went out there and did it, and that it's as good as it is. And to put a almost 2.5 hour long slasher movie out in cinemas is wild stuff. So I like Terrifier 2. I wouldn't expect you to watch it ever because you just can't.
I'm probably gonna dream about that guy tonight anyway, so that's enough for me.
Even if you dreamed about him, you couldn't imagine what happens in the film, even in your dream.
Is it that bad?
It's like we're talking all kind.
Did you ever have to like put your hands like in front of your eyes and like squint?
No, because I'm a big boy.
I'm not a.
Some people did. But yeah, and I think there'll be this is a character that is set to become a new character in the canon of horror movie history. Next to Freddy and Jason and things. So yeah, I don't know. Terrifier 2. If you would want to watch Terrifier 2, you already know about it and you've already seen it. Is my take on that. I don't think that anyone who hasn't heard of it will want to watch it, but I liked it. In at number 7 is a movie that for a while was it's been a good year for film. Every year I guess is a good year for film, but like the next 7 movies on my list are all films that could be potentially number ones. Like they're all so good, and it's just been quite the year. And in at number 7, I've gone with Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. A film that you've seen half of.
I've only seen half of this film, and I haven't had the want to. Like, I want to finish watching it, but I haven't rushed, just because it's so complicated and crazy and insane. I appreciate what they did. It's just pretty intense, isn't it?
Yeah, it is intense. But I think you got to watch it in a setting where you're a bit more prepared. I don't
Yeah,
know.
we were not prepared
But
that night to watch it.
no, maybe not. But it's we've talked about it a lot. It's been talked about all year. It's one of the big films of the year, directed by a directing duo Daniels, starring Michelle Yeoh and Ke Huy Quan, Stephanie Sue, Jenny Slate, James Hong, Jamie Curtis. It's got a great cast. Big mad science fiction, time travel, alternate dimensions, mad lunacy film, kung fu. It's a great movie, and I loved it. And I'm sure everyone's heard enough about it by this point in the year. But yeah, Everything Everywhere All at Once. If it does nothing other than raise the profile of people like Ke Huy Quan and Michelle Yeoh, then it's done a good job, because they are wonderful people. So yeah, Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Cool.
I'd recommend
Good
properly
choice.
watching it. In at number 6, I've gone for, and this should have been like, I can't believe this isn't my number 1. I can't believe it's not even in my top 5, because it is. I loved it. The Batman.
The Batman.
Yes, The Batman. Matt Reeves is The Batman, starring Robert Pattinson in the role of The Batman, alongside Zoe Kravitz and John Turturro, Jeffrey Wright, Paul Dano, etc. Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like an incredible piece of work. I cannot conceive that they did it. I'm increasingly nervous that we're not going to see a sequel on account of all of the bizarre goings on at DC and Warner Brothers.
Yeah. What is happening?
Well,
They
they
fired
made.
Henry Cavill.
Well, I don't know if so Dwayne Johnson made Black Adam,
Yeah.
and because Dwayne Johnson has the greatest ego in the world, he was determined that Black Adam had to be the biggest thing that happened. So he did all of it. He was obsessed for years. He was banging on the hierarchy of the DC universe is about to change, this, that, and the other. And Dwayne Johnson very much had the perspective of, if I'm playing a superhero, I need to fight the biggest other superhero, because I need to be important. So he was like, I need to fight Superman. If I'm going to be Black Adam, I have to fight Superman. So he fought and fought and fought, and finally got them to do a cameo bit at the end of Black Adam where Henry Cavill turns up again to say, hey, I'm coming back as Superman, and everyone got all excited because Henry Cavill's going to do more Superman movies. But then, at the same time as this year, Warner Brothers have merged with Discovery, and the new CEO has taken over, and they cancelled the Batgirl movie earlier this year, and all kinds of
which
mad
is
stuff.
weird.
Yeah, and then there's he has, in some effort to he's identified that the DC films is an area where Warner Brothers can really make some money, and they've kind of been whiffing it for a couple of years. So he has hired James Gunn off of Guardians of the Galaxy and Suicide Squad and stuff to be the creative lead and in charge of the DC films, along with a guy called Peter Safran, who's going to be more the business end of things. So just after Dwayne Johnson got all of this sorted and had Henry Cavill pop up to be Superman again, James Gunn gets hired to totally have creative control over it, and now James Gunn is deciding what he wants to do with all of the things, and he wants to make a movie about Superman as a young person, a young man, and Henry Cavill isn't a young man, so he's not going to be playing Superman in it. And it's a mad, crazy situation. And I think that Dwayne Johnson is to blame, because I hate Dwayne Johnson, so I'm going to blame him. But I'm worried that if James Gunn has thrown Henry Cavill, and Dwayne Johnson must be furious, because he is there were articles about how much money Black Adam's going to lose. Warner Brothers, it's not going to turn a profit, and then Dwayne Johnson came out with this thing of being when you consider toys and merchandise, and it's no one ever, but any other report about movies being successful will not never consider merchandising. That's a whole other thing that happens later. Your movie wasn't the biggest movie in the world, just accept it.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm worried that James Gunn's going to come for the Batman next, and that would genuinely be upsetting to me, because I really want to see more movies in this world, because I thought it was great. Yeah. Did you like this, didn't you?
What, the Batman?
Yeah.
I haven't watched it.
Oh, sorry. I thought you watched it.
Yeah, this year in the cinema has been pretty dry in Italy. So English, the films are out, but in Italian, and I refuse to watch dubbed films. So I've
The Batman is on Sky Cinema now in the UK, so you might be able to...
Yeah, it's on Sky Cinema here as well. So I'm going to watch that during the Christmas hauls.
Cool. I'm excited to know what you think of it.
Yeah. So you're going to have a best of 2022 in January for me.
Fair. So up next is a movie that I saw last week, and I saw all the trailers for this film. I don't think you'll have... If you haven't heard of this movie, I'm not sure if you'll have heard of this movie, but this is a movie that I think you will really like. You should watch it. I remember seeing the trailers for it and thinking it looked like the most boring thing I'd ever heard of. And I went to the cinema to watch it just because it was on, and it was like, if I don't watch it now, and the reviews were good, so I was like, it's meant to be good, so I'll go and see it, but I'm not really expecting much. It completely destroyed me, this film.
Okay.
I thought it was phenomenal. It's a movie called Aftersun.
Yeah, I've read your review on Letterboxd.
Okay.
And I've seen lots of other reviews, and I'm really sad. I just really want to watch it, but I don't know when or where.
So it's written and directed by Charlotte Wells in her debut feature. It stars Paul Mescal and Frankie Corio, and it's basically the story of a woman who, I don't know how old she is, but she is in her early 30s, and she is reminiscing about a holiday she took with her dad just before he turned 31, played by Paul Mescal, when she was 11, to a sort of fading holiday resort in Turkey. And 95% of the film is the flashback to the 90s. It's a period piece. You don't really see the grown-up Sophie much. It's mostly Sophie as a young woman, played by Frankie Corio, in phenomenal. And Paul Mescal, who was in a show last year called Normal People that people loved that I didn't watch, or maybe even 2 years ago at this point. And he's an actor that is getting increasingly recognised by people. You know, people really like Paul Mescal, and this is the first thing I've seen him in, and he is incredible in this movie. And it works, the movie for me worked because I went not to Turkey, but on holiday as a kid, I would go to places like France and stay in campsite resorts and stuff that really, this movie really evokes the feeling of late 90s European holidays. And you see the whole movie is from the perspective of his daughter, and he's obviously going through, he's there, the mum's not in the picture, they're separated, and he's obviously taken her on holiday to spend some time with her, and there's so much internally going on for this character of Callum, the dad, that he doesn't talk to her about because she's an 11-year-old girl. So through her eyes, you just see him dealing with so many different things throughout the course of the movie that are obviously really weighing on him, and it all plays out on his face and in his performance, and it's beautiful and perfect. And Frankie as young Sophie has this maturity in her performance that is really strong and wonderful, and she, there's scenes where she's also kind of watching and witnessing the older teenagers at the resort sort of engaging in more close to adult behavior, and she feels stuck between the two worlds, and it's just it's incredible. It's a masterpiece, and I really, really loved it, and I was expecting absolutely nothing from it. And in terms of slice of life type films, I think it's up there as one of the best I've ever seen. So I would recommend that you watch it as soon as you can. And it's got these great 90s. It's got these great songs in it throughout that really feel like there's a Blur song in there. There's it's amazing. And I think you'll really like it when you are
it's
able
such a
to watch
shame.
it.
I just don't understand why films are dubbed. Just annoying.
Yeah, bad
It's really
stuff.
bad. So I have to wait for this tiny cinema that has English films. Well, films in the original language, and I'm just... Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to open a cinema.
Yeah, please do. Right, my number 4 film.
Yeah.
So my number 4 film is an unexpected hit.
Another one.
Yeah, that I wasn't anticipating being anywhere near my top 10 films of the year, but you'll see. It is Avatar: The Way of Water.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah, because I don't really like the original. I didn't really like the original Avatar, but
I never watched it. I think it came out when we were living in Japan.
Nope, came out in 2009.
Oh, well, I never watched it.
Well, I watched it when it came out, and it was the biggest movie of all time. And then over the years, I've been like, oh, Avatar, rubbish. But then, and this was coming out, and the trailers have been on for months, and I've always been like, good Lord, why James Cameron could do anything? Why is he doing this? But then, last week, I was like, all right, I'm inevitably going to go and see the new one, so I might as well watch the first one again. And away from like the expectations of it being the biggest film ever and all these things, when I watched Avatar 1 again, I was like, actually, it's a bit long, but it's a good, well-made... Like, I think after, as much as I like superhero movies, after a decade of the biggest films always being Iron Man punching Thanos or something, to see a blockbuster that feels more like just... I don't know, it's a James Cameron movie, so like the characters are important and the relationships and stuff feel a bit more real than maybe they do in Marvel movies. There's less quips and stuff, and it just feels a bit more... It's not adult, it's still quite silly. It's hard to describe the exact tone that he achieves that we've been missing from cinema for so long, but he does achieve it. And yeah, I watched the first Avatar again last week, and I was like, that's all right. I'll go and see the new one. And I went to see the new one yesterday. It is 3 hours and 9 minutes long.
And you hate long movies.
Yep. And it almost doesn't have a plot. It's not long because the story requires it to be long. It just luxuriates in the world that is created, and it's got a decent cast. Sigourney Weaver's in it, playing a teenage girl. Sam Worthington, who is not really anything, is in it again as the main character, Jake Sully, but he does a fine job. Zoe Saldana, who is pretty great, plays his partner, Naturi, and she's very good in it. Stephen Lang as the bad guy again is very good. Kate Winslet turns up and is pretty great. Cliff Curtis is good. All these people playing big, tall, blue cat people are phenomenal. And this movie kind of takes place about 12 years or even longer after the events of the first Avatar film. Jake Sully and Naturi have settled down to their lives as big blue cat people. They've had a group of children, and they're now a family. But the humans that they banished at the end of the first one, because I don't know how much you know about Avatar, but it's set on an alien planet called Pandora.
Yeah.
It's got all these minerals on it that the humans on Earth want, so they send people there to try and get them. The main character, Jake Sully, was a human in the first movie, but ends up having his consciousness transferred into the body of an alien thing at the end of the first movie. So now in this one, he's just fully one of these big alien blue people. And the movie basically is split into 3 sections. The first hour is dealing with just the fallout of the last movie and catching us back up to speed with the world. The second hour is basically like an hour of it's basically like
you look mesmerized by your own words, George.
It's basically an episode of Blue Planet.
Okay.
But introducing us to the oceans of an alien world.
Yeah.
But because the special effects are genuinely the best special effects I've ever seen in anything, it all looks completely real. So you are drawn into this genuine real world of falling in love with this ocean and this sea life that the Na'vi are living amongst. And then the third hour is where the bad guys catch up with them, and it's basically like a long action sequence for an hour that takes in, basically recreates the end of Titanic in a lot of ways with this action sequence set on the water. And it just works. It's exciting. It's beautiful to look at. It's joyous. It's incredible. I loved it. And James Cameron is kind of a bad arsehole of a man, but he's not a bad guy in the way that, say, Kanye West is a bad guy, and let's not talk anymore about him. But he's a bad guy. He's a bad guy in as much as he says just quite stupid things sometimes that make him sound like a bit of an arsehole, but not in like an immoral, evil way, just in sort of like you'd probably be quite difficult to work with sort of a way.
Okay.
But he's a phenomenal filmmaker. A big part of it is that he knows he's a phenomenal filmmaker, and that makes him a bit arrogant, but he is a phenomenal filmmaker. You know, when you think back, you know, Titanic, for all its flaws that people criticise it for, it's a well-made film. I like Titanic quite a lot.
Yeah.
Terminator 2, Aliens.
Yeah.
You know, he makes good movies. So, yeah, I freaking loved Avatar: The Way of Water, and I can't wait for Avatar 3. And
What?
you should watch them. What?
No.
We're getting Avatar 3, 4, and 5 coming in the next few years.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh.
You should check out Avatar 1 and then check out Avatar 2, because I don't know, I'd be interested to know what you make of them. Why are you shaking your head
I
like
can
that?
promise you to watch, you know, She-Hulk because they're 20-minute episodes, but I'm not going to spend 3 hours with Avatar.
Yeah, but you don't know anything about it. You don't know if you'd like it or not.
Fine.
I'm not saying you have to watch it today. Just at some point,
Well, I can't
I'd
watch
be
it
interested
today.
to know
But
what you
yeah.
make of the original Avatar. Anyway,
Anywho.
that's Avatar: The Way of Water. In at number 3, and you know, this has been a year of surprises because we've got another film that I just was not anticipating enjoying, and it is Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah.
Which you haven't seen yet.
Nope.
I don't think.
Nope.
Are you interested? Are you ever going to watch it?
Yeah. I had intention of watching it because it was on
Yeah.
the plane. I was like, oh, fantastic. So when I
Okay.
come back, I can watch it. But I was
Yeah.
in Japan for quite some time. And so when I went back, there was not Top Gun anymore. And
that's a pity.
so I arrived in Japan when it finished at the cinema, but it was on the plane. So I should have. But yeah, I really
The
want to
crazy
watch
thing is, it came out in April
Yeah.
or May. It's still on in the cinema in the UK. You can still go and see it in the cinema here. It's crazy.
Yeah. I wish I lived there.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm just saying because
It's so
it is
good.
globally.
Yeah.
It's globally, and in America, it's the biggest film of the year.
Yeah.
Like financially, it's made which is crazy because like it's always a Marvel movie or a superhero
Yeah.
movie nowadays. Like the fact that it's this film starring a guy in his late 50s, just about planes is wild. And like the fact that like I don't care about planes at all.
Yeah.
It works. It's just an entertaining blockbuster movie. It's
Yeah.
so good. Top Gun Maverick is miles better than the first Top Gun film. It's miles better than anyone could have expected it to be, and it's kind of lovely that it's been so successful. Not because of Tom Cruise, who's a bit of a lunatic, but just that you can still make, just that if you make it well enough, you can still make a blockbuster movie about stuff that exists in the real world. It doesn't have to have lasers and
Planes.
aliens and planes, and you know, it works. It's
Cool.
great. Top Gun Maverick is so cool. I love it. All right, in at number. Now these are two movies that are okay. Come on,
What?
come on. Come on.
Okay.
Right, the second best film of the year
Yeah.
is a movie that I just want to hug it forever.
Okay.
I love it so much, and I'll always love this world and these characters, and I hope that they never stop making them. Glass Onion: A Knives Out Mystery is my number 2 film of the year.
Yeah, I really want to watch that as well.
23rd of December, Netflix.
Oh, okay.
It got a very limited theatrical release in the UK, and I managed to go and see it in a cinema near me. And I won't spoil anything about it, but it's as good as Knives Out 1.
Oh, nice.
That's saying a lot. Yeah. Daniel Craig is just perfect as Benoit Blanc again, and the mystery he has to solve this time is totally different to Knives Out. Rian Johnson has found another way to do a murder mystery film without feeling like he's repeating the successes of Knives Out 1. So that's really good in terms of the plot. And then in terms of the casting, Edward Norton, Janelle Monáe, Catherine Hahn, Leslie Odom Jr., Jessica Henwick, Kate Hudson, Dave Bautista. And they're all phenomenal. And it's full of it's a really fun, playful movie. It's full of cameos, which I won't spoil any of them, but it's got loads and loads of cameos in it that don't detract from the movie, but just really fun little moments. And it's just a great film. But Glass Onion I was excited about it, and it held up. It's so good. It's so good. So yeah, I would recommend.
Cool. I really want to watch it.
Yeah. Let me know what you think of it when you see it, because it's good. But my number 1 favourite film of the year, a film that I think is an all-time masterpiece that blew me away and destroyed and devastated me, and I can't wait to see it again, is the newest film from Luca Guadagnino, Bones and All.
Bones and All. How was it?
It's just the best.
Oh my goodness.
It's Timothée Chalamet is really good. So the thing is, it's got Mark Rylance is in it, and we've talked before about how I don't like this thing that Mark Rylance is doing. Like he's popping up in films like Don't Look Up and Ready Player One, playing this really odd man-child like character.
Yeah,
and it's a performance thing that he keeps doing that I didn't think worked in either of those two movies, and he does it again here, but it completely works, and he's phenomenal in it. Timothée Chalamet as a fellow cannibal of the main character who she falls in love with is great. But Taylor Russell, who I previously had only seen in a couple of horror movies called Escape Room and Escape Room 2, which are not very good films, she comes out of nowhere and stars in this movie and is just phenomenal in it. She's so good, and I thought her performance was wonderful, and the movie just evokes this kind of, it feels timeless. It's set in the past at some point. It sort of feels like it's set in the 80s, and it's just this road trip movie where she runs away from home, or various things happen. She ends up away from home. She meets Timothée Chalamet, she meets Mark Rylance, and it's just this road trip movie going across America throughout these Midwestern Dust Bowl type towns. And it just, like, the fact that Luca Guadagnino, an Italian director, manages to so perfectly photograph and tell this story set in the Midwest of America is great, and he does it perfectly. And the soundtrack by Trent Reznor is what is the best soundtrack of the year. And yeah, the movie just, I thought, like, I love a horror movie, but this is like a horror movie on another level. It's not an elevated horror movie because that's a stupid term, but like it's a horror movie, but it's a beautiful romantic gothic. It feels like a gothic romance in the way that like a vampire movie might be, but it's just not about vampires. It's about cannibals. But it's great. So I loved it, and
cool.
I will. Everyone should watch Bones and All. It's good. You should watch it.
Nice.
When you can. Yeah.
So good list. It's incredible.
Thank you. What have you got anything that I haven't mentioned?
Yeah, I've got a few things, mainly mine were probably like more like Netflix or streaming movies. So I had The Menu, which I really enjoyed. I also enjoyed the film, which you didn't, but I thought it was really good. And although maybe the plot of the story might be a bit meh, I feel like he's a great filmmaker, and one of my tops is Jordan Peele's Nope. I think you should watch it again.
No.
For me, it looks, first of all, amazing, like the wilderness and how it was filmed, and I think it's an interesting film to watch, but I don't know. You keep shaking your head, so you're
sorry. I don't want to put you off. No, I don't. Why did you? What was interesting about it?
It puts different layers of what Hollywood is about and the human condition as well. Like the part, like you didn't enjoy the Stephen Yeun bit, did you? You thought it was...
No, didn't connect to the rest of the film at all. It was pointless.
In my opinion, it kind of did connect to the rest of the film because his experience kind of connects with what he was doing, like exploitation. And...
But I don't think he is exploiting anything because he doesn't. It's not like, and then the audience that came to watch it, they hadn't done anything wrong. Like it feels like it's meant to be judging people who haven't really done anything particularly wrong.
Yeah, but it doesn't choose who what happens. It's not like it's.
Well, then how does the experience connect, or like why does it matter if it does or
whatever happened in a television studio wasn't the people that were acting's fault, and they paid what happened. It was who created the TV show, and that's the same with the Stephen Yeun thing. He put people at risk. He put the people at risk, and whatever happened to them and whatever the thing did is not their fault, but it's Stephen Yeun's fault. And he put the same people. He did what happened to him. I don't know. I thought it was an interesting an interesting film to watch. I like the references of pop culture that he puts in that don't really match the film, and it's different, and maybe that's why I enjoyed it. It's different, and it's not the kind of normal alien thing that you expect. The thing that happens is not really expected.
No,
And
but it's less interesting than what is expected for me. I felt like it wasn't what you expect, but what he did was something that was not as interesting, boring.
yeah. But I watched. I didn't think I would enjoy it, and I did. It's not Get
Fair.
Out at all. It's not that caliber. But I
Yeah.
think that there's definitely more to think about on what is the deal with this. You know, I think. But but yeah, I enjoyed that one. I think maybe you should watch it again and see what you think.
Not anytime soon, but maybe one day.
Okay. I really I was surprised by this film with Maya Hawke and Camila Mendes, Do Revenge. I thought that was a really
That's
great film, and really fun, and another kind of side of kind of coming of age school life, and I really liked it, and it was just a big surprise. I didn't think I would enjoy it as much as I did. A film that has not come out in Europe yet, but I was lucky enough to watch it in Japan. Makoto Shinkai made a film called Your Name a few years ago, which was a massive smash hit. One of my favorite bands did the soundtrack for it, and I think a couple of years ago he came out with Weathering with You, which for me was like the worst thing I've ever watched in my life. And so I went to the cinema with really low expectations. Also, I know some Japanese, but I am not fluent, and so I watched this film in Japanese with no subtitles.
Wow.
But I really wanted to watch it, and I'm not sure when it's going to come out in Europe. And it's called Suzume, and is a coming of age story, like all of his films, about this 17-year-old Suzume, and she finds herself in this place with this door, and she opens the door, and an earthquake happens, and then she realizes that she has to go to different locations in Japan where she has to stop devastation from this thing that creates earthquakes. I don't know if I understood all the film. I'm not sure, but it is absolutely beautiful to watch. The story kind of makes sense because it's more like Your Name in a world that is kind of magical and not magical, kind of unreal, whilst Weathering with You was more kind of like, oh, we're in Tokyo and this is happening and we've got guns. This was really great and gorgeous and beautiful, and I can't wait for people in Europe to watch it because it's really beautiful, and I loved it. And of course the music is from Radwimps, so good times.
Oh, they did it again. That's cool.
Of course, they always do it because they're incredible. And then I think Catherine Called Birdie was great. We talked about it before.
Oh yeah.
I really liked it. I think it was a great film for this year, and it made me feel lots of many things, and I enjoyed that. And a film that I didn't think I was going to enjoy, but I loved because I love the artist. But biopics sometimes can be tough. The film Elvis.
Oh yeah, Elvis was brilliant. Yeah,
so good. And I, by the end, I was in floods of tears because I felt so bad. And the end shows a clip from Elvis and a clip of actually Elvis singing, and a clip of Austin Butler, and it was amazing. The last clip, remember?
Oh yeah, no, it's incredible. Yeah, well,
And
yeah,
the fact that
well,
Elvis looked like, at one point I was like, which one is Elvis? And I thought, and the
yeah,
guy that was the actual Elvis just looked like somebody with prosthetics. It was weird, and I didn't realize how messed up his life was, and what an incredible musician and person he was, and it just got messed up by this horrible guy. I loved everything about it apart from Tom Hanks's accent, which I was just it's just terrible.
it's a weird one.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know if that's what the real guy sounds like though.
Come here, Mr. Presley. I have something to tell you. It was really, really bizarre. I also really enjoyed Don't Worry, Darling. Maybe controversial thing to say. I thought it was great. And you keep doing those faces. I'm very understanding of your choices, George. I enjoyed Don't
What?
Worry, Darling. I think it was good.
I can not like it though. You're free to not like things I've chosen.
Absolutely, but I'm very positive about things. I thought it was good. Don't Worry, Darling. I think was a really good film of the year, and you don't agree?
No, I thought it's terrible.
Terrible. What about if I said Thor: Love and Thunder was one of my favorite films of the year?
Is that true?
I loved it. Yeah,
Oh my God, what is wrong with you?
it was so good. I can't believe you didn't like it. I thought.
Why would I like it? What is there to like?
Everything? Absolutely
Oh my
everything.
God.
It's just so much fun. It's crazy. It goes everywhere. It hasn't really. It's just insane, and I loved it. I love Thor: Love and Thunder. So that's it.
Wow. Fine.
Yeah, that's it. You know, it's not your like highbrow Luca Guadagnino cannibal love story, but you know.
What do you mean? I loved Thor Ragnarok. Thor Ragnarok is all the things you've just described. Love and Thunder is not any of those things.
I love Thor Ragnarok. I think it's better than Love and Thunder, but I really, really like Love and Thunder. I was invested in it. I had a good time. I laughed. I had a little tear. I thought Natalie Portman was great in it. I thought it was good.
Natalie Portman's good in it, but you can't get over how bad Korg is. I hate Korg now.
Why?
He just doesn't need to be there. Why do they bring him along for it? And the scene with Russell Crowe lasts for.
I love Russell Crowe in it. It's like, I'm a Greek.
Adds nothing to the film, and it's.
That's not
bad.
true. It adds everything to the film. They have to get the thing.
Christian Bale's the god butcher doesn't butcher any gods in it.
Of course it does. They're all dead.
Yeah, but you don't see any of it. There's no actual
Good.
like stakes on screen. Like it's they just go, oh, he's gone through all of the different places and killed loads of people. Has he? Like, why not show us some of that?
Because it's not necessary. It's not called.
Well, you've got
it's
it's
not
more necessary
called-
than spending
But
20 minutes with Russell Crowe doing nothing.
It wasn't 20 minutes, man. It was like
I think that
5.
scene is 20 minutes long. I
No.
think the whole of that sequence in
No.
that place is easily 20
And-
minutes long.
And it's not called the God Butcherer. It's called Thor: Love and Thunder. So the love is there and the thunder is there. So I think it's pretty accurate.
The Dark Knight isn't called Here's the Joker, but like they have time in it for the Joker. Like the villain should have a story. The villain
But
should
it did
be in
have
the
a
film.
story.
I really didn't.
Yeah, it did.
Oh, it didn't.
It kidnapped the
Oh,
kids. It fought against Thor. Also, I think
I just thought that the jokes were terrible and the plot was boring and it was just
But you liked it when you watched it, and then you stopped liking it after you watched it.
I don't think that's
You
true.
said, yeah, you said that, didn't you?
Oh, like in the moment of watching it.
Yeah, you enjoyed it in the moment of watching it, and then
Yeah,
you changed
bits
your
of it,
mind
but I-
after watching it.
That's not
It's
entirely
it's
true. I still
it's
sat
on
there
episode
thinking
85,
that-
I think.
Okay, I still sat there thinking the Russell Crowe stuff was boring. I thought that as I was watching it, and I was enjoying other bits of it. But then when it finished, I was like, "Is that really the totality of what you've created?" It's just not enough. It's just I didn't like it. Anyway, that's fine.
I did. I thought it was good.
No,
But it wasn't like, I'm just joking. It's not one of my like top. But you know, I just wanted to like annoy you a little bit. No, I just wanted to let you know that I enjoyed it, because I watched it not thinking that I was going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
And
No,
then
it's fine. Like my friend who didn't like She-Hulk really liked Love and Thunder. So just different things, different people.
Yeah, so maybe you've gone more like the other direction of kind of.
Well, I just like things that are well made and not things that are trite.
Oh,
trash.
great! Wow,
Yeah.
wow, George, getting out the big guns, getting out the. Oh, I like things that are good, not like cute. I like things that are shut.
Yep.
That's it.
That's films.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yes.
Do you want to quickly hear my 10 favourite video games of the year?
I guess.
Of course you do. Good. In at number 10, A Plague Tale Requiem, the sequel to A Plague Tale Innocence, I think it was called, set in like medieval France, about a brother and sister trying to survive during the bubonic plague, but with like a kind of supernatural vibe to the rats. Good game, like it. It's on Game Pass. Recommend it. Number 9, Escape Academy is basically a escape room simulator with a loose story connecting the various different escape rooms together. It's like a puzzle game. Loved it. Recommend people play it. I think it's on Game Pass. Number 8, Stray is the game where you play a cat making its way through a little futuristic city. We're manned by robots.
You've talked about that before, didn't you?
I have, yes. Yeah. Very good cat simulator game. Loved it. Number 7, another game I've talked about before, Power Wash Simulator. The ultimate zen-like experience of calm, just washing things in Power Wash Simulator forever. Love it. Number 6, The Quarry, the big game this year from Supermassive Games, is a story-based, narrative-focused horror game about a group of teens at a summer camp in America who get menaced by a monster, and I won't spoil the nature of the monster here, but I really enjoyed The Quarry. It's a good game. You can play it with someone else. I played through it with my brother, and we shared the choices and things, and it was cool. In at number 5, Horizon Forbidden West, the sequel to Horizon Zero Dawn. The tale of Aloy, one of my favourite gaming characters of all time, as she attempts to survive in the far, 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 far future post-apocalypse, robot dinosaurs, etc. Good game. And number 4, a recent release, God of War Ragnarok. I've yet to finish this, so it might move up the list later, but why are you laughing at that?
No, just because we were talking about Thor Ragnarok, and then we...
Oh, yeah, I know, it's weird that, isn't it? But yeah, so this is also set in amongst Norse mythology, and it's the story of Kratos, the Greek god of war, as he attempts to help his son work through issues within and around Norse mythology and the coming of Ragnarok. His son revealed at the end of the last game to be Loki. And that's a cool twist that they do a lot with in the new game, and it's pretty good, and I look forward to playing more of it. In number 3, Elden Ring, a game that I didn't finish because it's just too big, but it's an incredible new From Software game. In at number 2, another recent release that I love, Marvel's Midnight Suns. This game is very cool. You play as a character that you make your own kind of hero character called the Hunter, and you are the daughter of Lilith, a demon queen who is resurrected and starts attacking the world, and you have to lead a team of Marvel superheroes against her in battle. So the game is split into these different sections where like your base is this abbey, and you all live in this abbey together, so you wander around this abbey during the day, and you can go and like talk to Peter Parker and Doctor Strange and Tony Stark and Wolverine's there and stuff, and you kind of make friends with them and build relationships and stuff, and then you go off and do a mission, and you pick 2 heroes to bring along. So you might pick like Wolverine and Spider-Man, say, for example. And then you get dropped into this little map where there's like a group of bad guys, and you have to like fight them, and it's this turn-based battle system using cards to... It's hard to describe that bit of it, but it's a cool combat system. Like it's really slow-paced tactical combat rather than like fast-based, and I like that a lot. And then the relationship building stuff, making friends with Spider-Man stuff is I like it. It's good. So yeah, Marvel's Midnight Suns, I'd recommend people play. It's really cool. It's made by the development team that made XCOM a few years ago, which is this alien invasion game. That's cool. Anyway, and then my number one favourite game of the year is a video game called Immortality that I talked about a while back, where you are piecing together footage from these 3 lost films to try and find out what happened to this missing actress, and it's a masterpiece. I absolutely loved it, and everyone should play it. And those are my favourite 10 games of the year. Blah, blah, blah.
Wow! Wish.
So that's all the best stuff of 2022.
Yes.
Would you like to have a little look behind the curtain at what is coming up in 2023?
Of course.
Okay, good. So I've got a list of, first of all, albums that are coming out in 2023. Now, music tends to be less scheduled in advance than films and TV and stuff, so this isn't a very long list, but some of the stuff we can expect to enjoy in the early parts of 2023 is This Is Why, the latest album from Paramore. It's coming in February.
This is why I don't leave the house,
etc., etc.
Yes.
So I'm looking forward to that because that single is one of the best songs of the year. I think I really like that song, so it's I'm keen to hear more. Also in February, we've got Cracker Island, the Gorillaz album, which again, there's been a couple of songs from that singles released this year, and that's excited. I think there's a new album coming this year from Baby Metal around March time, called The Other One. Quite recently, very excitingly for me, Metallica have announced their latest album, 72 Seasons, coming in April. A big release, and they're doing a massive world tour, and it's going to be a Metallica year, I think, next year, which I'm excited about. And then these don't really have release dates or titles, but supposedly PJ Harvey, iconic singer-songwriter, is due to release a new album next year. And iconic pop-punk band Blink-182 are on the way back.
Oh,
and
the
we'll be releasing
small things.
Exactly.
One of them is with the Kourtney Kardashian now.
Yeah, Travis Barker.
Yeah.
The drummer. Yeah, that's weird, but
yeah,
okay.
very, very strange. But
yeah,
love is love, isn't it?
Love is love. Right. That's the music. There'll be more music obviously coming in 2023, but those are the big releases that are scheduled at the moment. I've got a longer list here of films that we can expect to enjoy next year. The first half of this list, most of the films on it have got a trailer, so if you want to do a bit of MyTube, we won't watch trailers for all of them because that would be insane, but if one jumps out at you and you want to watch the trailer for it, you say, and then we'll watch it. So you pick a couple here. So early on in the year, we've got Megan coming, which is spelled M3GAN. That is a movie from the makers of Malevolent and Insidious, about a young robot doll girl who goes crazy and attacks people. Looks pretty good.
No, thank you.
Okay. After that, we've got the latest film from Brandon Cronenberg, son of David Cronenberg, is coming. That's called Infinity Pool, and I don't actually know anything about it. If I quickly look, I'll tell you what the plot is. Infinity Pool. What have we got here? What have I got? Come on, you're ruining my day here. What are you doing? Okay, a rich couple are on vacation in La Tolca at an all-inclusive island resort, but outside the hotel gates hides something more dangerous. What do you reckon to that? That's the new one.
Great times.
Sounds like the White Lotus a bit.
Yeah.
And we've got Knock at the Cabin, which we watched the trailer for that a while ago. It's the new M. Night Shyamalan movie.
Yeah.
I'm excited about that. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania is the first Marvel movie.
I watched the trailer at the cinema. It looks good, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I was quite excited about it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Up next is one that we might want to stop and do a MyTube on if you haven't seen the trailer for this. The new Elizabeth Banks directed comedy thriller movie, Cocaine Bear.
No.
Okay.
Let's do
Let's have a look. Let's look at this because this is you might have thoughts.
I have thoughts all the time.
Right, so I'll send you the link to the trailer so we're watching the same video.
Yes, sure, please.
There you go. Let me know when you're ready.
Ready.
Good. 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay. Ambulance. Paramedics. Something is happening. Crime scene. Blood everywhere.
Yep.
No entry. A room with a bear.
Just back out slowly.
Yeah. There's a bear. Oh my goodness. This bear is huge.
Millions of dollars worth of cocaine cocaine fell from the sky this morning in Knoxville.
Oh my goodness, did the bear eat all the cocaine?
Out there, they dumped it somewhere.
Maybe.
I'm looking for my daughter. Forest is a dangerous
Okay.
place.
Hey, Henry, check it out. Something got into it. A deer, maybe?
Oh,
A lot of cocaine was lost.
amazing. So, a bear just ate a load of cocaine. And then,
Don't eat that.
I think it's
Let's see what kind of effect that has on you.
the bear is high.
It fucking did cocaine.
Wouldn't a bear die after all that cocaine?
Well, let's talk about that at the end of the video.
Cocaine.
There was a bear.
And it's
It was
it was
That's inappropriate.
it it's a apparently it's based on true events.
bears can't climb trees.
Yes.
Of course I can.
Yeah. I'll tell you the true story at the end of the trailer.
Oh. So the bear is now climbing the tree because he did a load of coke. And oh,
It kind of seems like the thing that stays with the man forever.
Apex predator.
it looks like fun. Like it looks ridiculous,
Yeah, it
but
does
also
look fun.
it looks like ridiculous fun.
yeah,
And this bear is
silly
just
fun.
chasing cocaine because he wants to do cocaine.
Oh man, you fucked.
Fucking wrong with that bear? Shoot it, man! Bear, speed up!
Higher, baby, and don't ever come down.
Okay.
We have such good luck in nature.
So there you go. That's Cocaine Bear. What do you think to that?
Insane.
Yeah.
But then,
Directed
yeah.
by Elizabeth Banks of all people, which is also pretty mad.
yeah.
So yeah, the true story of that is that in the I think 70s or 80s, I'm not sure exactly when, some smugglers did have to throw a bunch of cocaine out of a plane and it landed in a forest, and a bear did find it and eat all of it, but rather than go on a mad drug fueled rampage, it just died.
Yeah, of course. Like,
Yeah. And its body is stuffed and on display in a museum somewhere in some small town in America with with a plaque that says "This is Cocaine Bear," which I think is why the movie is called. Cocaine Bear. So the real story is much more tragically just about a bear dying because of human idiocy. But this looks like a
horrendous.
weird film that might be worth watching.
Yeah.
So yeah, so there's Cocaine Bear. Also coming up, we've got Scream 6.
Yeah. With
Which is
Jenna
wild
Ortega.
because- Yeah, and that is coming literally 1 year after the last one. That is a ridiculously fast turnaround. So I'm a little bit nervous about it because it seems too quick. But
Yeah.
we'll see. Hopefully it's good. There's a movie coming out called 60... This might be another one to do a MyTube on. I'm just going to send you the link for this, actually.
Okay.
'cause-
You looked really confused by the title.
well, I don't quite know what to make of this film.
Okay.
And I don't want to tell you what it's about before you've watched the trailer.
Okay.
Right, yeah, so I'm just going to send you this link.
Okay, so the trailer Georgia sent me is 65, and I can already see Adam Driver.
Yeah, Adam Driver's
Okay.
in this movie.
Yeah.
Right, so see what you think of this. So 65, let's go. 3, 2, 1.
Okay, so
There's something alien out there.
Adam Driver is hunting aliens or something.
Carter 373. This is Commander Mills.
I think he's a soldier.
By an undocumented asteroid.
Oh,
Some
outer
kind
space.
of sci-fi soldier. Yeah.
The music is very daunting, so that means something bad is happening.
Good. Yes, well done.
Yes,
yeah.
I like
yeah.
that.
A long-range exploratory mission.
He's an explorer, and he crashes his ship,
Send help.
and is looking for
Certainly.
help. So it's a Sony picture, so it could be either good or bad.
Yeah, usually terrible, but,
Yes.
you know, hopefully. There's
Yeah.
a reason I'm interested in this film, and you'll see why soon.
Okay, so is it like Alien? It looks a bit like Alien.
It does look a bit like Alien, doesn't
And
it?
there's an alien in the pond, and I can see
Located one survivor.
a survivor.
A child.
I'm a
chi-
survivor.
Why would you put the child in the spaceship?
The
Well,
atmosphere
I don't
is
know.
breathable.
Well, I mean, like if you're in a
There's something
alien land, you would not put anybody in your ship, but because this must be the child, the alien. Like, of course it is. 65 million years ago. Huh? 65 million years ago.
Yeah, but they're not aliens.
Are they dinosaurs? No. Did he go back in time? What? That's a T-Rex! What?
You need to be quiet.
What?
So I think he's ended up somehow transported back in time,
Yeah.
and it's a dinosaur movie.
It's a dinosaur.
You and I are going
How? You can't do a dinosaur movie if it's not called Jurassic Park. That's not.
Well, normally no. This is a very rare occurrence,
that's
isn't
not.
it?
That's not allowed. Only Jurassic Park is supposed to do Jurassic Park dinosaur
Dinosaurs.
movies.
Well, here we have a
Oh.
movie that's
Wow.
not that. What do you reckon? What do you reckon to that?
I have no idea. I'm totally shocked. You
Yeah.
know, there's no Jurassic Park. Like, how is it? And it's called 65.
Well, we never get dinosaur movies. Never happen unless they're Jurassic Park movies. So
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited about a dinosaur movie that's something different. And Adam Driver's great,
Yeah.
but it's a Sony Pictures movie. So
Yeah. Why?
we'll
Why?
see.
Why did they not just stop? Just
Because I don't know. Occasionally they make some money, I suppose. Okay, moving
Okay.
on because we got a list here.
yeah.
And there's at least one more definite MyTube.
Hmm.
Unless you've seen the trailer, you might have actually seen the trailer for this. Anyway, let's move on. John Wick Chapter 4 is
Oh,
coming.
I'm excited about that.
We can all be excited about that. A film, one of my most anticipated films of next year, Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves.
Yeah, we already watched the trailer.
for that is good trailer. One of my less anticipated movies, but I think I'll end up liking it in spite of myself. The Super Mario Brothers movie is
I've seen that teaser trailer like 65 times now. Because I went to see
Have
a
you
few
s-
films, one after the other, at the cinema.
Yeah.
And it was just
Have you-
constant.
Have you seen the second trailer yet?
No.
No, we won't watch it now but it looks like it might be okay. It's just that voice again. I don't. Anyway, after that, Renfield is coming up, which I'm excited about. That's a movie where Nicolas Cage is playing Dracula and Nicholas Hoult is playing
Okay.
his Renfield, his assistant. Looking forward to that. Evil Dead Rise. This is something that there's no trailer. There's nothing for this, but it's a new Evil Dead movie, so I'm excited. I hope it's good. It's set in a tower block, I think. That's why it's called Evil Dead Rise. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3
That's
is on the
exciting.
way. Yeah. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to that. Have you watched the holiday special yet?
No. You put a
Interesting.
bad review into it, so I didn't watch it.
Yeah, I didn't like it, but other people do. Fast and Furious 10.
Never watched any of those.
You're missing out. The Little Mermaid.
Oh, I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, we'll see. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
Oh, that's going to be good.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that. Transformers Rise of the Beasts.
I've never seen a Transformers movie.
No, I wouldn't start with this one. This is a movie that I really think might actually not even come out. The Flash. Ezra Miller's a bad person, it turns out. It seems, maybe.
so
I don't know. But they're crazy.
Did I just hear, by the way, talking about DC, there's not going to be Wonder Woman anymore.
There's not going to be a Wonder Woman 3 directed
Yeah.
by Patty Jenkins. That's definitely the case. There will
Yeah.
be more Wonder Woman movies, I'm certain.
Okay, but just
Well-
Wonder Woman 3.
Yeah. But Wonder Woman 1984, so maybe it's for the best.
Yeah. I agree because
Hopefully we get more Wonder Woman. And also, I like Gal Gadot, but also if they end up recasting it to someone else, I think that would be fine as well.
yeah,
You see what I
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see. Pixar's newest movie, Elemental, is coming out. That's about fire, a fire person and a water person.
Okay.
I don't know anything else. Asteroid City, the new Wes Anderson film, is due. Tom Hanks is in that, which is going to be interesting. He's not done a Wes Anderson movie before.
doesn't speak like this for the entire film.
Yeah, me too. But, that should be good. Here's one that we should do a trailer if you haven't seen it, but you might have seen it. I don't even know. I'm in spite of myself again. I'm excited about this, and I'm sure I'm going to be disappointed. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
It's going to be incredible. It is. That's it.
Have you seen the trailer?
No.
Okay.
But Phoebe Waller-Bridge is in it, and so it's going to be
Now,
amazing.
before we watch this trailer, I want you to bear in mind that when you see young Indiana Jones, like young Harrison Ford, that isn't old footage. That is new footage that they have done like de-aging on. Because it's impressive. It's some impressive tech that they've got going on here. So let's have a look at this. See what you think.
Okay, so
Let me know when you're ready.
okay, I am ready. So
Okay.
Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
Yeah. Official trailer. Right.
Let's
3,
go.
2, 1, go.
Okay.
I miss the desert.
So they're somewhere by the desert. It looks sandy. But now they're in New York.
New York City.
Oh, now they're in the
Baby.
sea. And is it teaching? Because he's an archaeologist.
Miss waking up every morning.
Oh, there's the Nazis.
Wonderful adventure the new day will bring to us.
Oh.
Those days of
Oh my god, Harrison Ford looks incredible.
No.
He's back!
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, was it Temple of Doom?
No, Raiders of the Last Ark, that guy's in.
Raiders of the Lost Ark. Phoebe Waller-Bridge is... Oh my goodness.
things
It does look amazing that the aging.
can't explain.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I've come to believe it's not so much what you believe.
Okay, he's on a horse.
It's how hard you believe it.
Oof.
Oh. Like... Sorry, I'm enjoying it too much.
So am I.
There are lots of horses. It has to be good, because
Who is this man?
I'm her godfather.
I have good hopes.
Get back.
You know why? Because Phoebe
Why?
Waller-Bridge is in it, and I don't
Yeah.
think she would. I don't think she would accept anything that is rubbish.
I know, it's just, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull was such
Oh,
a crushingly disappointing movie.
Well, it was horrible to watch.
Yeah. And we are
But-
talking about an action movie starring an 80-year-old man.
What are you talking about? It's fine. It's Harrison
Okay.
Ford. It's okay.
Well, if anyone can do it, Harrison Ford can. But
Exactly.
this is madness.
But he's
it
looking
looks
good
great.
though. Like
It
he's
looks
looking
great.
fantastic.
He looks great.
The film looks good. I think.
Yeah.
I think it might be good.
I'm really... God, I hope it is.
Like I'm really
I
hoping.
really
it'll be
hope
good.
it is.
Yeah.
And yeah, that shot of him as a young man, that is crazy.
Incredible.
That
Yeah.
is some impressive technology.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got that coming out. Okay, finally, because it's been out in America for ages, we're going to get Pearl, the sequel to X,
Oh yeah.
which I'm absolutely going mad for. I can't wait to see that. It's meant to be so good. Insidious Fear the Dark, the newest film in the Insidious franchise. I'm looking forward to that. Patrick Wilson's directed this one, which is cool. Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. After the year that Tom Cruise has had, I'm pretty excited to see what his next, what he's doing with this. He'll probably flinging himself out of a plane again. I don't know what he's going to be doing.
Yeah.
Oppenheimer,
Yeah.
Barbie.
Barbie. That's exciting.
Come on, I'm excited.
We're like
about Barbie.
Oppenheimer. Christopher Nolan. No.
Christopher Nolan,
Barbie.
the story of the atomic age. Nah, Barbie, mate.
Barbie.
A bit of Barbie.
We need some Barbie.
The Marvels, Captain Marvel 2 effectively,
Yeah.
but with Miss Marvel and looking
Yeah.
very excited about that. There's a new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie coming. Teenage Mutant
Why?
Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. I don't know, but it's an animation and Seth Rogen's made it, so
Oh, it's an
Maybe we look-
animation.
yeah.
Because I used to watch the cartoon when I was a
Oh,
child.
I used to love the cartoon.
And it was amazing. And then they did the live action one, and it just scarred me. It was just
I
disgusting
know.
to watch. It
A
was
lot of
horrible.
my friends really like those live action ones, but I never could get into them.
I can't.
No.
I
Yeah.
just know, and so I've never given any
But
any chat.
Seth Rogen, like, that's an interesting, I don't know. I'm intrigued.
Yeah. Seth Rogen
We'll
is a
see.
stoner, so it's going to be fun.
Well, yeah. We've got Meg 2, The Trench, the sequel to The Meg, coming, the giant shark movie. I'm excited for this because Ben Wheatley's directing it, which is, you know, I adore, you know, I love Ben Wheatley, but he doesn't normally make Meg 2, The Trench, so we'll see how that is.
Yeah.
There's a Kraven the Hunter film coming.
Okay.
One of the lesser Spider-Man villains, but played by Aaron Taylor Johnson, who, you know, he's a good, decent. I don't know what that's going to be like, but that's coming. There's a new Exorcist film coming out next year. The Exorcist. It's by the same creative team that did the recent Halloween movies, and those recent Halloween movies have, you know, have gone from amazing to terrible. So who knows where the new Exorcist movie will land? But high hopes. The 10th Saw movie is coming next year, which is
wow.
Who knows? June Part 2.
Oh, that's exciting. And Florence is in it. Florence Pugh.
Oh yes, please.
I still need to watch The Wonder, actually.
I need to watch The Wonder. Yeah, I want to see that.
Maybe that could be our homework for next time.
Yes, yeah, let's do that. We'll both watch The Wonder and then discuss it next time. I like it. Yeah. We've got. So I've not written the proper title of it here, but I've written The Hunger Games, some kind of prequel about Donald Sutherland's character. It has a stupid name. It's called like Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes or something. It's got a really awkward title. Yeah. Wish, which is it's either the 100th Disney animated movie, but that doesn't seem right. It's like the 100th anniversary.
Okay.
I think that's it, of Disney animated films or something. It's going to be some kind of like film that brings together all of the Disney animated movies. Or like it's like the origin story of the star that the shooting star that people wish on. I don't know, but that might be interesting. Wonka, the Timothée Chalamet is Willy Wonka movie.
Okay. My face was like, but then it's like Timothée Chalamet can do no wrong.
Timothée Chalamet is playing Willy Wonka, and it's being directed by Paul King, who directed Paddington and Paddington 2, and those movies are masterpieces. So here's hoping. I don't know how true this is, but it said online that Ghostbusters Afterlife 2 is coming out next year. I haven't heard enough about that to know if that's true, but
that would be really good, and I hope it'd be.
If they do another one of those movies that is less beholden to the nostalgia of the past, then it could be really good.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right, because that was the worst part of the film.
Yeah, and I really that was a 5-star movie for me. I really loved it, but
good.
I definitely think if they make a sequel, it needs to be more its own thing. And that could be brilliant. And again, similar to The Flash, I don't know if this is actually going to come out, but supposedly Aquaman 2 is coming out next December. So, all right, so those are films coming out this year. A much shorter list, very quickly. Some TV shows to look out for.
Yeah.
We've got. This is the one that I'm particularly. This is the most anticipated thing for next year for me, and we don't have long to wait. January 15th. The Last of Us.
Ah, yeah.
Oh my god. I can't wait to see this. I'm so excited. We've talked The Last of Us stuff, so I won't go over it too much. But yeah, the story of a zombie apocalypse as told through the eyes of Joel and his young charge Ellie is something that I can't wait to see. And after the success of Catherine called Birdie this year, I'm expecting to really enjoy. This
She's
show.
gonna be great.
She's going to be so good. We've also got a show that I'm really looking forward to, and when I tell you about it and what it is, and when I show you the trailer, because maybe we should do a trailer watch for this, you're going to be excited as well. We're talking about Poker Face. This is a show that is a murder mystery, murder of the week type show, starring Russian Doll's Natasha Lyonne.
Ooh.
Created by and written by Knives Out's Ryan Johnson.
Oh.
Do you want to see a trailer?
Yes, please.
Let's look at the trailer. Let me find it for you. And I think it's called Poker Face because I think the special thing about her as a detective is that she can always tell if someone's lying. I think that's the vibe.
Poker face, poker face.
And that's the
Is that the song?
No, I don't know. Okay. Here we bloody go.
Yes, baby.
Boom.
Okay. Oh, it's Peacock though. Oh, where can I find Peacock?
I don't know. I'm sure this will be on something. I think Peacock stuff comes to Sky usually.
Does it?
I'm not sure.
Because I wanted to watch a film or a series. I'm not sure what it was with Kaylee Cuoco and Pete Davidson.
Oh, Meet Cute.
Yeah.
That is on, in the UK, that's a Prime original now. That's on Amazon Prime Video.
Oh, I'm going to check it out then. Cool.
Yeah. Okay,
I'm ready.
3, 2, 1, go.
Hello, Miss Gale. I'm happy to
Oh,
finally
it's him.
meet you.
What's his name?
Yeah. Adrian Brody.
This gift
Adrian Brody.
Adrian Brody.
is knowing the truth.
I only know if something is a lie.
And
The real trick of it is to figure out
she's
why.
I love her. She's so great.
so good.
There's been a murder, and I'm trying to figure out.
And it definitely looks like his work.
His death
Yeah.
is not mysterious. It's tragic.
And the cast
Oh,
looks crazy good.
Amazing. Oh, it looks good.
Right?
Yeah, it looks very good.
Not entirely, no.
Yeah, pretty short trailer, but I'm pretty excited for that.
Yeah,
I think it'll be good.
it looks good.
I like Natasha Lyonne a lot. So there's a new show coming out called Gen V, which is, you've never watched The Boys, have you?
No.
So The Boys is like a parody. It's very good.
Yeah.
You should watch it, but it's a parody
Yeah.
of like Justice League type stuff. Gen V is a spin-off that seems like it's an X-Men parody. It's set in like that world's version of what the X-Men school would be. And,
Okay.
It should be good, hopefully. The Idol is coming to HBO, and this is the show that's been made by The Weeknd and stars him with Lily Rose Depp.
The Weeknd, like the singer.
Yeah,
The Weeknd.
yeah, like the singer The Weeknd. It looks a bit rubbish, but we'll see. And then Velma, which I'm looking forward to Velma. This is the animated Velma show, Scooby-Doo Velma.
Okay.
But it's been made by Mindy Kaling, and Velma in this is of Southeast Asian descent. I think that's the right
Oh, nice.
one. Which has caused controversy online because
course.
people are
know.
gross.
Yeah.
Um,
People are gross. Not everybody,
Yeah.
but a lot of them.
And then the very last thing is we've got some new Marvel TV shows to look out for next year that will be presumably of varying quality. What If Season 2. Season 1 of What If was rubbish, so
yeah.
we'll see what that... Yeah. Loki Season 2. Loki Season 1 was great, so
that was
hopefully
so
that'll be
good.
good. Secret Invasion, which they have put out a trailer for Secret Invasion. That's the Samuel Jackson one. That looks cool, so hopefully that'll be good. Ironheart, who is a character that was in Black Panther Wakanda Forever. Who, I don't know, we'll see. Echo is kind of a spin-off of the Hawkeye show, starring a character from that.
Okay.
And then we've got Agatha, Coven of Chaos, which is a spin-off of WandaVision following Catherine
yes.
Hahn's Agatha Harkness.
Oh, that might be good, I think.
Yeah, I hope that's good. And I can't remember who it is now, but they've announced some cast members of that recently that it sounds like it'll be cool. So... here's hoping.
Exciting.
Yeah. Exciting
And I'm going to
times.
write them all down this year, and I'm going to be
Yeah.
better.
Yeah, who knows how many of these we'll be talking about in our top 10 next year, or if there'll be
Yeah.
some big surprises, etc. But
Yeah.
it's been quite the year, and next year promises to be another year. And we'll be back with you for most of it starting the 12th of January
Yes.
with our top 5 movie quotes episode. Back to a nice classic top 5 to get the year started,
Yes.
which I'm looking forward to. Hopefully you are as well.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Back rolling again from the January.
So yeah, thank you everyone. It's been a delight to be, in your presence again. And hope you have a lovely holiday season, or whatever you decide to do, however you decide to mark the occasion of the year ending. We hope that you enjoy it. And as always, we are on various social media platforms. We are nowadays most active on TikTok. Because we're young and hip and trendy and relevant. But you can
So
still find us on
relevant.
Instagram and other places, and we'd love to hear from you what you think, what you want, what you like, what you don't like, etc. Any thoughts or opinions you have, please send them to us. You can find the links to all that stuff along with our email address and a list of stuff we've talked about in the show notes for this episode, along with every other episode. So please do go and read those. And we'll see you in a few weeks. I hope you have a nice break, and
Yes.
love you very much.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. See you in 2023.
Bye.